seen them close, but I've not seen them the same on either side. So there you are. LootBet, of course, our betting partners. Really not sure of who's going to take this one. The earlier results definitely, I think, skewing with their opinions and whatnot.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting that we've seen it sort of dead even, and I'm with you there. I certainly haven't seen the odds from LootBet being exactly the same, but look, you know, they've got their money on the matchup, and well, straight away for SG.PRO, look how much information they've got. Just for HONORIS, straight out through mid, going straight up through connector, and they're actually winning out some pretty good gunfights, but the bomb control's in the way of the CT side.
Yeah, it could be massive. Could be absolutely massive. They're going to have to find some quick headshots, though. Yeah, the HP's really not there. Pre-fire from Neo. And he will retrieve the bomb. With dire being low, their chances somewhat dwindling. RU-Fire's heard them run away, so they're pretty sure that it's going to be the B bomb site. He's not able to drop Neo on short. And kind of weird. It's directly a 2 versus 2. That lurk is a bit late. Dire is here super fast, able to drop the player in the apartments. Taz goes down. It's all onto Neo. Somehow it's back into a 1 versus 1. Neo's going to be spotted. He's going to be tagged. Left pretty damn low here. Not even the headshot required, but that's what it will be. And SG.PRO steal the pistol away, you have to admit. HONORIS should have been taking that one. Taz a little late out of Palace, and it costs them in a big way. Somehow able to clutch it back on the CT side.
That was super late from Taz. Now, they've got to make a decision there. Either Taz starts to over-aggress and pull some sort of fake out and keep the defenders at A, or they need to show B presence, get Taz to say, hang on a minute, A is clear, and maybe bring that bomb back through underpass or something up through con. But the way that Taz is just out at Palace so late, he can't help his teammates at all. Already the fact that he's out towards the A bomb site, he's trying to take a duel onto the short player, instant 180 and taken out. HONORIS, they get a bomb plant, they don't get the pistol round, and things were looking pretty good. They had a 3-on-2 there.
Yeah, should have been doable. Should have been doable for sure. Damage coming in at middle here. Ultimately working out for the CT side. Dire on the side of Taz. The force buy has not paid off at all, in fact. 1 kill not quite good enough. I think they definitely need more from this. There comes the second, and there's certainly potential onto Fame. Bomb is left in a 1v3 with the AK. I think they need to be careful. I think they need to respect him here. Definitely the strongest member of this HONORIS side. And capable of these clutch situations. They're also somewhat split. They do have a flank coming in from Fame. Oh no, but isolating the 1v1s. This is somewhat dangerous. Fame's also on 11 HP, and Stomp is very savvy to the fact that the encroachment's coming in.
Fame's so low. One bullet's going to take him down. You got to think for Stop. He's reading this. Can he turn it into 1-on-1? Trying to tap away. A great shot coming out from Fame. And I'll tell you what, I feel as if they didn't kind of give him the respect. The way that they just try to hunt him down, sort of giving up those 1-on-1 fights, tells me, at least for SG.PRO, that they're not afraid in taking these duels. They want to try and end the round as quickly as possible and kind of put the pressure back onto HONORIS. I guess you can kind of say there's a bit of a positive and a negative there, but for Stomp, that could have got really interesting if he took Fame down.
Not the case, though, so we end up in this scenario with SG.PRO in a decent enough position. They should be able to build up some cash here. Hopefully not going to drop any players. There's P250s and a Deagle in play. So definitely do have to, once again, show a bit of respect across. We're trying to get positioning on mid with no utility is somewhat impossible, as you see. Just absolutely mowed down. Keys are left on 10 HP. That's the closest they come. And a very quick third on the board for SG.PRO. HONORIS now the ball in there, caught the AWP out for Stomp immediately here on this T side, which, although kind of to be expected from HONORIS, maybe this early, I wouldn't say ill-advised, but it's a little unorthodox at best. But at the same time, SG.PRO, they don't have one at all, so they could get the catch, they could get an early pick, and there's no one to return onto Stomp as easily as they would like.
And you've got to think for Stomp, right? You want to try and get that AWP into his hands as soon as he can. He's your main man. He's your most consistent element on this team. So if you can get that AWP out, if you can get him firing up, finding those opening kills, finding those trade frags, that's really where he starts coming into his own on that T side. And this time around for HONORIS, like you said, taking big control in that last round with pretty much no utility, it's going to be a tough one. But this time, SG.PRO, they're just giving it up. They're not looking to fight at all.
Interesting. Definitely interesting, right? I think maybe learning early on that HONORIS are putting a lot of pressure on it. And although mid control is great to have, and particularly in a 5v5, it's good to have, you also have to recognize times when you need to drop that mid control. And also you can play around not having it. This is a good response. Getting aggressive somewhere else on the map and gaining information off the back of that aggression. You can also see, right, the weaker weaponry and stuff. They just don't really want to fight. However, this is a much better idea. Fame, cheeky frag onto Taz, who, by the way, with all the luck or lack thereof that he's been having so far in this game, we talk about the mental. I feel like Taz is certainly one of the more mental players in the game. Always has been.
I love this setup. Like, so this is going to be a bait and switch. If they're playing two towards that firebox position, as soon as one swings out, HONORIS are never going to expect this second player to be here.
Neo's found Senator, though, so the encroachment, the push now coming in. Are you Fire able to find Neo through the smoke? There goes the first. You talked about the second, and Dire comes in with two of his own. Beautiful setup. That makes all the difference, right? Until then, trades had been even. SG.PRO will get their fourth round on the board off the back of a beautiful little play.
Oh, that was actually really nice from SG.PRO. Really helped as well with a bit of aggression coming out towards that ramp face and Fame being able to find the opener. Yeah, he was dropped quite low, but getting that opening man advantage, it actually forced HONORIS to sort of back off from that mid control and try and set themselves up for an A play. And no AWP in the hands just quite yet for SG.PRO. I'm kind of surprised that they're not going for the AWP in this round. I suppose they know they're going to be up against Pistol, so maybe try and get it out into round 6.
Yeah, possibly. I definitely feel like SG.PRO are a much more reactive team, though. We might even see them just stick with the rifles, and then when they lose a round, that's when they pull the AWP out. But certainly curious. We'll see what happens, how it goes down. Fame and Keys are coming in with a couple of frags. The bomb has actually been planted here, so I think HONORIS can be happy with that injection of cash into the next round for them.
And unfortunately, though, not many kills coming through. Good cleanup on this retake coming out from SG.PRO. Not really giving up any one-on-one fights, making sure to use all that utility relatively well with the incendiaries and the flashes. And for HONORIS, you've got to think, yeah, look, they invested quite a lot. They could be happy with a bomb plant. They certainly would have been more happy getting maybe 1 or 2 kills and at least trying to keep the economy low, because you have a look at these few players of SG.PRO. RU Fire's already at 10k. They're really starting to build up their bank.
Very dangerous on that CT side as well, right? It just shows signs of how dominant they really are. HONORIS needs to get this foot in the door soon. Good around as any. No excuse in terms of the buy or anything like that. Everything they would want. No AWP coming out for SG.PRO once again. So keep your eyes on Stomp. Keep your eyes on his impact in this round. Nice little take from HONORIS. They are passive at the top end of middle. Still going to push in. I'm not sure how effective this is going to be, and he kind of knows it. They're getting aggressive in ramp as well. And nothing coming as yet, Dweck, but oh, you can just cut the tension with a knife. There's the first peek, an immediate 1-for-1 trade coming through. The T side gaining mid control off the back of it. Ramp becomes the next area of contention, and Fame just following the traces, able to take down Taz through the smoke once again. Not having the best day is Taz. Prism meanwhile still around, and Fame kind of knows it, unsure. Is he on the left, is he on the right? But he's on the right. Fame takes him down, and that should surely seal the deal. The smoke dissipates. Neo in a crazy spot himself. Keys have got to be careful. The nade and the molly coming in, as well as the bullet from Stomp. Is it going to be enough? Not looking too likely. Stomp has to clutch it out.
Oh, what a weird round coming out from the SG.PRO side. They're looking like they're going to be able to close it out pretty easily. Stomp's last one left with the AWP. He gets taken down, so they can pick that up. They don't need to invest it going into the next round. Now, like, what is Senator doing there? Like, he's so out in the open. He's towards the bottom of that window position. And he's so exposed from top mid and underpass. But one thing I've certainly noticed from this SG.PRO side is sometimes they're just in the strangest positions possible, and it just catches teams off guard. We see for HONORIS, they get that one-on-one trade, and I even like the attempt from SG.PRO. They got quite aggressive up towards mid in the opening at the start of the round, then decided to fall back, then they aggress ramp. You've got to think for HONORIS, they need to deal with this ramp control, because the CTs are winning so many fights towards ramp.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem to be a massive issue. Not only the fights, but also taking control maybe seems a little too easy for them. Yeah. And they can pick their fights, if that makes sense. They get a deep smoke in, maybe off the back of a flashbang. But HONORIS don't really seem to be contesting it early, and then they move in and they go, oh, damn, we've lost ramp control. Now what? You know, it's a key area, of course, if you want to enter that A bomb site. So, certainly messy stuff early on from HONORIS. They are looking a little lost. SG.PRO off to a flying start.
A bit of util over to that B bomb site is going to potentially rotate Fame over to B. Looks like he wants to stay around because it's going to be a fake from HONORIS. And we've seen this a few times on their T-side defaults, using util and trying to get control elsewhere. And I tell you what, running into A is actually going to be quite a worrying sign because there's 3 players here on the City side.
Prism will find the first. That's definitely good for HONORIS. Like you say, the defense pretty damn strong. Fame with the off angle, only good for 1. Clean trade from Ryko coming in. Teaser gets 1 on the AWP. So far, they've been traded back pretty quickly. However, he's able to get away, and RU Fire comes in with the backstab. That's massive. Drops the bomb, 20 seconds left. Now panic ensues. They're split. Prism taking fights on the front. Ryko on the back. He does get the bomb, but he's on his own. 2 more players to come. He needs to look for the 4K. He knows vaguely where one of them is at, and he looks away at the wrong second. The double take there screws him over. The 7th round for SG.PRO.
Oh my goodness. This is unbelievable. But not just the scoreline, also these codes from our fantastic partners of Hellcase.com. Malta-V and Malta-V15 to get a little bit of cash in your account and a 15% refill bonus, only at Hellcase. You've got to think for HONORIS. They go, right, let's take attack. Things are struggling at the moment on the T side. That was like one of the first times in quite some rounds that they found an opening pick from Prism. And from there, you've just got to think, like, where's the firepower? Where's the trading? Taz currently on 0 kills. It just seems like the individuals are just losing fights pretty much every single time. They're never holding on to advantages for HONORIS.
Yeah, I think so, right? They're playing maybe a bit too thick and fast. Sometimes they catch SG.PRO off guard, but ultimately, like we saw, RU Fire comes in from behind and is able to drop the bomb, which I get the bomb going in late. It's definitely safe because then it doesn't get dropped in an awkward spot, but he was almost too late. He was like too far behind. Plus, he's that linchpin player on the AWP. I think giving him the bomb is somewhat risky. Fast round coming in for HONORIS into this one, though. Senator only good for 1. Some great flashes to blind him up. Taz is on the board, but the round not looking as good, unfortunately. 4 versus 1. Stomp the only one left. They seem to know where he's at. Ooh, okay, that's an awkward spray down from RU Fire. So, kind of needless damage. He definitely had the drop on him, but fluffing it ever so slightly. Rotation starting to come in. Stomp taking damage from Kiza and able to finish him off as well is the AWP. A little dicey for me, that last exchange. Seeing the AWP with a dig out, right? It's kind of dangerous, but all the same. 8th round for SG.PRO. They will continue on their tear, and I'm sure they're happy to, you know, lose a couple of players and make sure they stay away from the max amount of money to give them a silver lining to those frags that they lost. HONORIS, though, I mean, they've already lost the half out. They really do need to pick this round up. It is starting to get very, very worrisome.
Yeah, it is. Both AWPs towards top mid, both missing out on their opening exchanges. And SG.PRO are going for something different. Look at the aggression coming up from Fame. Look at the damage that's already been done. A 1-for-1 trade. Finally, HONORIS are finding an opening advantage. They've got a 4-on-3, and this finally looks like a round they're going to be able to convert.
Oh, you say. Senator's in against Neo. Thorn in the side here coming from Connector will be RU Fire. Hiding in the smoke, looking to creep in. Prism looks away at the wrong time. Not caught him on the stairs, but does spot his barrel out at the very last second. And with that, Senator going to look to save. I think he's dropped an AWP here. I saw him have on the hood. Yeah. So he swapped back to an AK when they thought they could maybe go for it. Able to save an AWP in the 1 versus 3 and concede the round. I mean, giving one away is cool. Saving this AWP is a great idea. Really going to help that economy out, which is already in a very good spot. However, HONORIS do get 1 on the board. And it's fairly clean. Surviving with the bare minimum of 3. Should be able to comfortably buy and try and string some rounds together for the next few rounds.
And that was a really reactive call coming out from Taz. As soon as they realize the city side is aggressing up towards mid, they just go for a quick A site hit. Like, it's kind of like a bit of a dry run in the fact that they're not slowing it down and setting themselves up for the util and going for the execution. They just run in, and that comes off the back of they going, right, okay, we've seen gunfights towards mid. We're able to hold on to a 4-on-3 for the most part. Let's just run in, get that quick entry to the A bomb site, get that bomb down, and put ourselves in a post plant. Because you got to think, outside of all the rounds they've lost, they've only got 2 bomb plants at the moment, HONORIS, in the 8 that they lost.
Slow start to this round. As HONORIS, very tense, very cautious. Late utility coming in the middle. Yeah, a really slow start to the round, actually. That's the first piece of utility they used on the T side, like almost 40 seconds in. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the slowest rounds we've seen from HONORIS yet. And you got to think, for SG.PRO, they really don't have a lot of information at the moment. They've seen a fair bit of utility out towards mid, but just playing pretty deep into the sites. They haven't really got a read on where HONORIS' default's going. Even for HONORIS' sake, we don't even really know where they're setting themselves up for. This might just be a fake A execution to pick that bomb up and hit B.
Yeah, it looks that way. Definitely looks that way. They might dedicate a body to it as well in the form of Baz. Although, I will admit, maybe not the most threatening member on this HONORIS side. He is selling the fake relatively well. That's so awkward. What's happened there? How did DiRei not get that kill? I mean, he goes down, but that's crazy. RU-Fire, though, in a perfect spot. He's going to get overlooked. This could be massive. They are losing players. He's going to peek out onto Stomp. Regains the apartment's control, but quickly dealt with by Neo. Definitely could have had more impact there, but he causes a little bit of chaos. Back and forth. Hard to call. DiRei wins a key fight at short. With Ryko being the only one left, the bomb has gone down, but he cannot win out the clutch. SG.PRO will immediately get their foot back in the door. HONORIS cannot string them together, and they will be sent straight back to square one.
One thing you mentioned, Scriv, in the pregame was sometimes some of the sort of disciplinary factor for this SG.PRO side. I'm actually really happy they didn't rotate, because it looked like for Senator, he was even thinking about rotating off a B, and that would have made it really awkward, because that would have just meant a single player of RU-Fire was going to be at B. The fact that they don't check the balcony corner for so long until he's already made contact, it's a little bit unacceptable from HONORIS. It's one of those positions where certainly if you're not winning a lot of rounds, sometimes you can kind of just be a bit tunnel visioned and kind of focus on trying to get entries on the site rather than checking every single angle on the site. But for HONORIS' sake, this weren't able to pull that rotation out. Even for Taz, the fact that MP9, I mean, he struggled that MP9 towards closer ramp, but the fact that Taz wasn't able to find anything at A really didn't help on that lurk.
Yeah, well, I think this is definitely what I was saying, although maybe ripping into him a bit. He's not the most threatening member. Maybe they'd needed to dedicate to, but yeah, the balcony play, the big one for me, for sure, was kind of strange. It's like jumping out the window, fair. Maybe don't leave your AWPer alone, or molly the corner before you jump out. Like, it's not all that difficult. And they really held on to their utility in that round as well. So I think not out of the question to deal with the balcony area, and it really could have turned the round in their favor. As it happens, not the case. Double upset coming in for SG.PRO. I believe first time we're going to be seeing this. Straight in with the casual A execute. Not working too much utility away from the CT side early on, and you can see perhaps why they should be doing so. Lots of damage coming in. They will manage to trade one back. The bomb retrieved. Anybody's game at this point. Those bullets are so close from DiRei, and there it is. Senator with the Molotov able to finish him off eventually. Surely that was inevitable. 4 versus 3 coming in as Neo's in behind. Oh, this could be absolutely massive. 2 players round this corner that he could easily deal with, and there it is. HONORIS with that looking good now. 3 versus 2. There's kits available. Not much time, and they are so panicked on the SG.PRO side of things. Neo might just have done it. RU-Fire the only one left, and he can't find the frag onto Stomp, who also missed the shot. That's a bit mental. He takes so much damage, and Ryko comes in from the side to finish off proceedings. HONORIS, off the back of the old guard player himself, will find themselves the second.
That's so big coming out from Neo. And what we saw there for SG.PRO is as soon as that util came in, they rotated even the B player off of Senator. So early in the round, we saw Neo like the only player in apartments while the rest of them were all at ramp. And he's just able to walk out and B, gets a great backstab in from Market. And the timing just could not be more perfect. And we spoke about the double orbs in the previous round. They're bringing them out again.
I would say they were pretty deadly. Certainly not super effective. We've maybe not seen the full extent of what they are capable of. And I would imagine that's maybe why they're going for them again. I prefer this from HONORIS. We've got some early working towards the B-bomb site to, at the very least, get the utility out of these players over here. Going for the double pump as well. The true utility comes over the top, and they both get caught off guard massively. Kiza is in pretty quickly from short, lands the tag onto the second, almost on the third as well. Looking for an opportunity to find a frag. Smoke goes down. It's an impromptu boost here as the bomb has been planted. Crazy turn of affairs over at short. Certainly looking good for HONORIS to pick things up here. Fame just creeping in. His positioning going to be so important. He doesn't check his corners. That might just seal the deal, to be honest. Kiza does trade back Taz, but 2 AWPs against 3, not going to happen. They know it. Cash not there for the next round, so they'll look to save. And it will be a third for HONORIS.
And I tell you what, that play in the previous round from Neo actually made an effect going into this. We saw Kisei with the AWP. No, sorry, it might have been Dire actually. He was at A for so long because he was just waiting for that lurk play. He was thinking, yeah, no, there's certainly got to be at least someone. And with him waiting for so long and not seeing anything, he actually can't really help his 2 defenders trying to retake. HONORIS being able to get a few rounds in a row now. They've got 3 out of the past 4. They're starting to build up a little bit of momentum. And, well, I spoke about the force buying that we saw in the best of 1. SG.PRO, they're forcing into this. They've got an AWP. Well, they got 2 AWPs that were saved in, backed up by an M4 and a MP9, but only a Deagle to come out for Fame. So not the best buy in the world.
Yeah, an interesting approach. For sure. Maybe he only needs the Deagle, though.
Ooh.
A clean double, actually. He wasn't expecting the second there. I thought he was going to get traded out pretty quickly, but that makes all the difference, particularly with the 2 AWPs still in play and everybody else on automatic weaponry. The action has just picked up a great deal. HONORIS are going to get this bomb down. They do have a bit more utility available, and Prism's hitting heads, but he's caught in the open. Easy trades. The man advantage retained by SG.PRO, as Raiko and Stomp looking to do as much work as they possibly can. I think Raiko might just have crept under them, and they're not going to expect him here at Sandwich. It will just get checked by the nature of the peaks, but all the same, he could have done a lot more from there. All going to be onto Stomp, easily dealt with by Dire on the swing. And SG.PRO, they win the force buy. Might have been questionable earlier against Force, but not the case against HONORIS.
Oh, wow. That actually works out really nicely. And, well, they're going to pick up the 3rd AWP. So they're going in to round 14 with triple AWPs. But it all comes down to Fame. I can't believe he gets a 2nd kill. I was thinking, yeah, 1 instant trade out from the Palace players. Even that flash that came out to try and get Taz into the bomb site did not blind Fame at all.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Definitely some tightening up to be done from HONORIS. Maybe they were expecting an easy run against SG.PRO, as we kind of were as well, I guess, due to previous results. But SG.PRO clearly learning from their mistakes the last time that they played, and they have put work into Mirage. It does seem to be one of the better maps for them, statistically speaking, as well. So they were perhaps thankful for the defeat against HONORIS. Next 2 maps, not quite as clear-cut, I would say. But this one is looking pretty damn good for SG.PRO. He says, Prism opening up into a possible 4th, but there, the trades come in thick and fast from SG.PRO, just writing them off completely. The bomb's gone down, but they gave you that. They were being nice guys. The retake is flawless, as it'll be an 11th for SG.PRO. Goodness gracious me, dominant stuff.
You really could not have asked for a better retake from SG.PRO. The fact that they just fall back, they give them up the site rather than keep fighting. The AWPs just lock down the sight lines, and Fame just absolutely rips house. 20 kills and 8 deaths at the moment for the man. He put a stellar performance up in that best of 1 where they only got 3 rounds against Forza on this map of Mirage. But it seems like he's carrying it over on the CT side. HONORIS even the buy going forward, it's the fact that they've got even Galil's up, not a massive amount of utility, no AWP up for Prism. You've got to think for them, even 4 rounds, I wouldn't even say that's a recovery. That's just, it's just desperation.
Ooh, Senator, not quite aware of the fact that he's sticking out ever so slightly. Kind of lucky to be alive. Will back away safely, though. Slightly tagged up. Of course, they lose control of that area. Mid actually falling very easily here. Again, SG.PRO have not been putting too much attention on it. Maybe that's something they've learned from the previous time they played, right? HONORIS, so much pressure on middle. Maybe if we give them mid, then we don't lose initial fights. It has seemingly been a bit of an adaptation, a bit of an anti-strat coming through. Great angle from Dire. Taz dropping. Not having a good time. He's going to come in with another as well. Raiko does manage to open up for the T side, but just getting written off here. The Orcs doing so much damage. He will miss a shot eventually, but he's only human. All on to Rico in the final round here. Not looking too good. We'll find one, but he gets dropped pretty quickly. Decisive stuff from SG.PRO the whole half through, to be honest with you. There were obviously a few close rounds in there. HONORIS able to take some of them over the line, but ultimately, SG.PRO the better side by quite some margin.
And it seemed like for HONORIS, like, I don't want to sort of blame them a little bit too much, because obviously SG.PRO played really well, but it kind of seemed like the strat book was very light on Mirage in that first half. We just saw so many site executions. We really didn't see many default players coming out. We didn't see many sort of like flank attempts. We saw fakes, obviously, between the A and B bomb side, but we never really saw like a site execution and then a lurker out through mid or a lurker over towards the other side. And oh my goodness, wasn't it even at the beginning, Scriv?
Yeah, I think it was dead even, sir. I think it was dead even. So shift a little bit, I think it's safe to say.
Just a tad. Yeah, just a little bit. Wow, those odds over at our great friends at Lootbet. Get involved in betting on the Malta Vibes action. And I mean, I think SG.PRO is a pretty safe bet at this point. 12-3 up. Even for Fame, he's got a deagle on the pistol.
Yeah, definitely interesting. It's going to work for him. Mirage, certainly one of the maps, I think, where it's kind of viable. The long-range mid, right? That with no real utility in the pistol, you're going to take a lot more of those fights. Senator coming in with a couple of his own. Oh, HONORIS. Oh, HONORIS. Really not working out for them. Just getting overwhelmed by the Glocks here. Raiko fall pretty easily as well. He does get one. He's the only one to find a frag for HONORIS. SG.PRO looking to take that second map pretty damn quickly. Dust 2 awaits on the horizon, and honestly, there's not a massive amount of differences in terms of the individual, in terms of the aggressive playstyle that SG.PRO could employ over there. And I don't know, man. Sure, there's some learning being done by SG.PRO since the previous matchup. I think that is safe to say, but at the same time, I feel like HONORIS are just mentally checked out, not their day, not feeling good. That inconsistency that we talk about, I think they're starting to become aware of the fact, and it's a little disheartening.
Yeah, no, look, it certainly is. And you've got to look at SG.PRO and say, right, they've come into this with a game plan. They've certainly done their homework. They've been anti-stratting HONORIS just this entire game. And Taz has found a little bit of an opening, but what can he really find with this? I mean, if he over-aggresses any further, there is a possibility of maybe taking Fame down, and they're going to end up stacking the B bomb site. So you've got to think for HONORIS, they're actually in not a bad position at the moment.
Oh. Key fight that needed to be won there. RU Fire as well coming in with the nades. I figured maybe, yeah, they guessed correctly, but it's a good approach from SG.PRO. What's happened here? Prism's still alive on the 5-7. Third coming in for him. Out of nowhere, the round has turned upside down. Dire the only one left in a 1 versus 3. He's tagged up low. There's scouts in play. He cannot be hit once by these sniper rifles. The bomb down in no man's land. More tags coming through off the edge of the smoke. 35 seconds left, and Stomp able to find his head. HONORIS steal away the 4th off the back of the hero play from Prism. Oh, just when they needed some kind of a miracle, it comes through, and they buy themselves a bit more time to work with.
Well, that's actually insane. Like, we look at the play, and with Taz going in the back lines, they're able to stack the B bomb site, and as soon as I had that 5-on-3 for the T side, I was thinking, okay, yeah, even though it's a stack, it's going to get ripped apart. And it seemed like the kills came out of absolutely nowhere. Prism and Stomp working together. So many tags coming out from that scout, that bench position. And SG.PRO being completely reset, they're going to have to force on their own account. HONORIS, this is their opportunity. You look at this round, you think, right, you converted the last, fantastic. Now you need to follow up, because even if they don't win this map, even if they get to double digits, they're going to get a bit of self-confidence going into Dust 2 as that following map in the series.
That's certainly what they need. Not quite believing just yet. But SG.PRO, you've talked about their economic decisions, especially when they have so many rounds in the lead. They might feel they have, well, a bit more of a right to go for those force buys round after round, and particularly if they're able to get clean little plays like that and hit headies like this, then they might have a bit of logic in their methodology. 2 versus 2 coming in. Bomb plant secured. The Galil secured for Dire as well. There is a kit available for Prism, but Neo getting tagged down. You Fire also tagged down. Anyone's game, but Dire with the wide swing from on top of Tollbooth. They weren't expecting that one, and now Neo has to find 2 on his own with no real health to work with and not much information. There's nothing he can do. You Fire speedy round the corner will drop him, and that is not the result HONORIS were looking for. 14th picked up by SG.PRO, and we talked about square one in the first half. This is square one in the second half. HONORIS are back to it, and they will have to fend off with another weak bye.
Oh, those shots of SG.PRO really, really sharp. And I mean, considering that we haven't really seen a lot of sort of like Deagle kills coming out, you can even just see in that round just the clear gain of firepower that this SG.PRO side has over a team like HONORIS. Just unbelievable Deagle kills coming out, unbelievable trades. And that was the response that HONORIS needed to follow up with. Unfortunately, it doesn't go their way, and now they have to force on their own account. Even Taz is the one with the M4, and he's had just such a struggling game.
Yeah, really not been a good time for him. They're getting written off into this one as well, Dweg. Stomp finds a heady. Prism the only one left. Gonna get clapped by Sinator. See you later. And 11 rounds in a row required from HONORIS to bring it back to overtime. It is only the first map. It's not their map pick, but at the same time, when you see a scoreline this dominant twice in the same day, and just in general, you really have to raise some questions. We talk about it all the time. This level, everyone seems to be able to beat everyone, and also the way that the economy is shaped up in recent months and whatnot, results like this are very rare. So to see one team fall flat and only pick up a handful of rounds, not even a handful of rounds, twice in one day is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Stomp, though, well, he's angry. Opens up this round. Taz going to join him. 5-on-3. They might be able to stay alive a little while longer. Again, not quite believing just yet, which I think is reasonable, but if they can pick up some of that confidence and momentum you were talking about through to Dust 2, it could be good for them.
Yeah, this is a good start to the round. They've got a couple of opening picks, and even Neo's Deagle's starting to come alive now. But Fame and Are You Fire, now it's just going to be Are You Fire. Great round so far coming out from the HONORIS camp, but you got to think this should be a pretty easy conversion. Players all peeking out at the same time, and well, the 5th round up for HONORIS, they can be happy with that. A couple of nice shots coming out. But you've got to think it's only going to be a short matter of time. I don't think the HONORIS are going to be able to pull too many rounds to bring this comeback through. It's going to be 10 in a row just to get to OT.
It's a tough task. It is a tough task for sure. Unenviable position right now for the CT side of things, but certainly not impossible. Just highly, highly improbable. We'll see. It begins here. SG.PRO thereby not fantastic, but this is kind of where they like to thrive and whatnot. Stomp, however, has been hit some nice shots on the scout. Getting off in his hands as soon as possible, guys. Reiko coming in with one of his own, but Dire able to trade back. It's been a chaotic round. That's how SG.PRO like to play it, particularly when they've got 10 rounds in a row. Taz, watch out, buddy. Your gun is kind of hiding Fame away. It's all good. He repositions. He's able to take him down. Might have to push forwards here because of the molly. He will indeed. Dire. Oh, timing. It's wild. Oh, what? The speed is ridiculous. They can't deal with it from time to time on the CT side of things, but I think with the low HP bars, They should be able to clean things up here, surely.
You would think so. SG.PRO probably have to just try and take some unbelievable raw duels. If they can take the scout down from Stomp, there's an opportunity back in, but of course he does not miss that scout shot. A 6 now up for the HONORIS camp, and SG.PRO, I hope they don't force. They are certainly a team that we've seen so far today. Not so much in this series, but in the previous best of 1, forcing a hell of a lot. And you've got to think, with this lead, you know, just give up an eco, give them up another round, get those rifles out, get those AKs in play. One thing in the back of their mind, though, is we need to deal with Stomp because he's been able to grant himself an AWP.
Uh-oh. Could be problematic. Would be nice to see some big moments for him before we move into that second map.
Oh.
Oh, unfortunate. Unfortunate. I mean, I like the idea of the Blitzkrieg, but it's not super effective. Ooh, okay. Some spicy shots coming in. A few more, maybe. That is just... He's having such a rough day, man. You've got to feel for him. There's a point at which you say, okay, poor individual performance, sure, but he's also been shot, like, through smokes, on the edge of smoke so many times. And he's got to be tilted. He's got to be annoyed. They're also losing, so it all just stacks up. Poor Taz. Poor Taz.
Yeah, no, that's certainly a bit of a tilting factor. Even for Neo's quite low, but Ryko, ooh, this is now a 2-on-2 in a round where they only had upgrades, didn't really have too much to work with, and if Prism goes down, he's not checking the apartments at all.
This could get interesting. Prism, though, he will swing back. Drops Dire. Ready for the second, though, and Fame has got an M4, so indeed, if he gets caught off, misses a shot or two, he will be dead pretty quickly. Oh, I think Fame is not going to be ready for him to be below. The gun covers him. And Prism gets a bit lucky. 7th round coming in for HONORIS. Very, very costly there. And when they're on this comeback train, as you can see with a buy coming in from SG.PRO into this round, we're going to have a couple of these players feeling the burn. They just about are able to spread the wealth and whatnot. So actually it ends up being all good. But if they're wanting to bring this to overtime, the rounds need to be cleaner than that. SG.PRO lacking in the utility, but I think they should be able to get things done in this round.
And pretty fast take coming out from RU5 towards mid. He's completely alone at the moment. They're stacked up to go for the A-site execution, and Taz, this time around, finally out through connector. He's going to find some success and not get taken out, but that means SG.PRO is just going to run into A.
BD stuff coming in. They are wiping them out. Goodness gracious me. 4 versus 2 just like that. HONORIS have Neo and Prism to hold things together. To keep them in the game for just a round longer, they're hanging on by a thread, and it's not looking too good at all. These are the B players. They're absolutely miles away from the action. Smokes everywhere. No information to work with. Split at other sides of the bomb site. Ooh, Prism going to get the drop ups in it all. Okay. Let's not be doing that. Heartstrings can't be taking too much of that, but now they know where he's at. Surely the trades come in thick and fast. Meanwhile, Neo trying to get the catch from the backside. Same kind of situation for him. He's now in a 1 versus 2, just running straight in, and Kiza will swing out to take him down. 16-7 for SG.PRO. It was a hell of a lot closer. It was actually HONORIS winning things last time they played, but it was 16-12 last time they played. A lot closer on this map. However, this time SG.PRO come in all guns blazing. Really impressive stuff, Dwick.
Yeah, look, this is a great showing coming out from SG.PRO, and you've got to think for HONORIS that it got sort of in their court a little bit towards the end of that game, but it almost felt like it was too late. They needed to put up a stronger performance in that first half to just kind of give them something to work with going in to that CT side. But look, I certainly saw glimpses there from HONORIS. We saw Stomp having a very impactful game, whether it was with the AWP or whether it was with the Scout. For Taz, I really hope that mentally he's just able to kind of reset going into that second map, because there was a lot of duels that, yeah, look, there were some pretty crazy fights. He didn't have the best of performances, but for your in-game leader and for one of your most veteran players in the lineup, he needs to be able to mentally reset going into Dust 2.
Yeah, certainly, right. And I think we saw some really tough moments. Like I said, there's individual performance, but then there's also the fact that he got a bit unlucky, which can, in a way, be even more tilting because it's sort of out of your control. Dust 2, I think, is going to be kind of interesting. Obviously, we'll talk about things before we get into it after the break, but HONORIS, I don't know whether it's hard to tell because SG.PRO definitely could have done some work there on Mirage since the last time they played, but I don't really know if HONORIS are just not with it today. It is very difficult to tell. But look, we'll find out after the break. We are going to have to cut across and take a few moments while they get prepared for that second map. So stick with us. We'll be back soon. Welcome back to Malta Vibes. We'll be getting back into Map 2 pretty quickly here, folks. Of course, the game brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Maybe the home of gaming excellence. Not quite sure. Not been there in a long time. You know, hint, hint. But either way, I'm back with Dweg. We're here with the second map for HONORIS and SG.PRO. Dust2 coming up. Mirage, not so hot for HONORIS. I think you and I, although we didn't give hard predictions because it was a bit of an up in the air kind of matchup. Both of these teams had a rough start today. Didn't think that Mirage would be that one-sided.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. When I sort of saw the best of one results, I was like, okay, yeah, we could pretty much have a competitive sort of series. But after seeing Mirage and just kind of looking how HONORIS are just mentally checked out of that map, I'm really worried for them going into Dust 2. And you've got to think for SG.PRO, like, there's smiles all around. They looked really confident. They were just playing their own game, and that's really how they were able to find so much success. Maybe they can be a bit disappointed that they didn't close it out at maybe like a 16-4 or 16-5. They gave a few rounds here or there to HONORIS, but at the same point, 16-7, that's a pretty dominant scoreline.
Yeah, in a massive way. We were talking, of course, we don't really see those types of scorelines. And as you can see, these are the top fraggers of either side.
Wow.
Ryko only on 16.
Yeah.
Fame hitting 30 is pretty nuts, right? Particularly in a game that's that one-sided. You kind of expect every member to be fragging out, but Fame having a great time continues to impress me, actually, this guy.
Yeah, honestly, I've been talking about him for only a couple of weeks now because for this SG.PRO side, outside of probably the last couple of months, I'd never even really heard of any of these guys. They've really come out of nowhere. We saw that for Senator, Kisei, and Fame, they've joined the lineup about 3 months ago. And Fame, I reckon he's going to be like one for the future. He's a big prospect in the CIS region. He's nuts. He's only 17 too. Very, like, he reminds me of someone like Shiro. Like, yeah, they're completely different style of players, but just a really young talent that just puts up crazy numbers.
Yeah, absolutely mad. And I am excited to see how things go down. Of course, getting into the knife round here, we'll see if Fame can perform again. Of course, Dust2 map all about the individuals, so maybe he will indeed pop off. We'll see what side they opt to go with. I would imagine it will look towards the CT side. A lot of teams preferring to start there, but I suppose not. They're swapping around. I'm going to go in super aggressive on the T side.
Okay. Let's see how it goes. SG.PRO, you've got to think for them, just get those rifles out. We saw the double AWPs being very successful on the city side of Mirage. I think for HONORIS, we only saw Stomp really AWPing. They don't really have like a dedicated secondary AWPer for this team, but maybe if they can kind of get the economy going, then they could potentially kind of chuck it over to Neo. I remember him AWPing a fair bit back in the day, so maybe seeing if they can run that double AWP setup, but they just need to get off to a good start. They had a very poor performance in that first map. They need to get off to, you know, going up, winning pistol, getting 3-0 on the board, 5-0 on the board, just getting some confidence and putting some rounds up.
Loyalty here for SG.PRO. This is going to be a somewhat comprehensive B hit, and initially only the one player at back plat. A deadly spot, as you can see, holding the corner, and then he should be able to kind of hide away, peek back up, and find a few heads. There it is. Taz finally has some success in this series. Gets himself an early 3K, and the meat grinder there from HONORIS. Absolutely impenetrable on the B-bomb site.
Okay. Well, it looks like Taz has shown up in a big way, and, well, finally, it looks like the odds are going to be going the way of the HONORIS side going into Dust2. If you do want to get involved in those odds, you can check out our great baiting partners of LootBet. All their information is down below the Twitch channel. And that kind of spot towards back plat. Now, if you're going for a B-side execution on pistol, you need to get the entries pretty much immediately. If you can't deal with that back player, that whole pistol round is pretty much over. You need to deal with him instantly.
See whether the force buy is successful here for SG.PRO. Tiny bits of early damage being done. I suppose Senator actually takes quite a bit with 50, but 51 to be exact, you know, if we're being pedantic. But all the same, moving up short here. For me, I feel like one of the better spots for them. Doesn't take too much utility. Early flash coming in. I suppose they don't have an AWP, but I would have liked to see that used a bit deeper. Maybe because of that, they've decided they're going to drop back, but now they're not really sure. Up and down short, up and down middle here. I guess just going to try and burst out through the double doors.
Smoke up for D-Ray. Fame's just trying to see if he can sell a bit of an A play. Maybe if he gets a kill, could try and force some rotates out. Stop with this scout, and there it is. Fame finding the opening kill. It's not really going to rotate any of the B players because they're kind of stuck. Oh, what a shot coming out from Stop. And Taz is doing so much work once again. He showed up massively in the pistol round, and he's showing up again in the second. One man at that B bomb site has shut this round down completely. He's on for his 4K, and for Fame, he's picked up the bomb. Needs to deal with Taz just to get a bomb plant in. Ding down to 18 points of health, and this round is looking like it is all but over. The two veterans, Taz and Neo, what a hold coming out from Taz. He's really shown up on Dust 2.
Hey man, this is where the experience comes in, right? A bit of a younger player. Maybe we talked about Gambit youngsters, for example. If they were to start with a poor start in the series, it might be hard for them to bounce back mentally. But the likes of Taz, he takes a minute, gets some fresh air, and then bang, he's straight in. Completely different player by the looks of things. We'll see whether this continues. For now, looking super, super strong. Another buy from SG.PRO. Maybe this is where they start to make some of these sillier decisions. They do kind of come close in the previous, I guess. There is a lack of utility, I guess. But maybe making a habit of this will be dangerous, to be honest.
It's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a team that force a lot. Now, considering the fact they didn't get a bomb plant in the first or the second round, that cash injection is just not there of the extra 800 per plant. They've got a decent buy through, but the lack of utility is certainly going to be a big factor. And it's got to come down to this long challenge to start the round off. Taz, again, 7-0 at the moment. And Dire, well, he's able to catch off the player getting aggressive out through long. This is just a site execution to A.
Being absolutely shut down. Just being mowed down completely. Easy stuff. Dire on the tail end of things over at long. Does manage to get one. I think he spotted that second player in the form of Stomp, but left on 2 HP. Surely not. Yeah, Flash is just nullified by the car. Taz easily able to finish him off and continues his flawless game with 8 frags and 0 deaths. Third round for HONORIS on the board. And now SG.PRO can't really do anything to fight back. They're still going to go halfway in. I guess they've got the loss bonus stacking up, but it'd just be nice to see them go for a complete eco, to be honest, and get a strong rifle round out.
Yeah, look, it's certainly a bit of an overextension in terms of the buying, rather than trying to very light investment and then just get the rifles out into the next. Fame again with this deagle. Oh, beautiful shot coming through onto Raiko. And I'll tell you what, that's what Dust 2 offers, Scriv. It offers a lot of raw aim duels, and the firepower can sometimes just start to trump up on that T side.
Curious, the way they've moved here on the HONORIS side, dragging more players towards the B-bomb site. I'm not sure whether that's the correct decision. And in from the side, Neo just gets destroyed. There's no one to help him out. He's watching long, open to short. There was no one around. 5 versus 3, 5 versus 2. They are just losing these fights outright. The positioning not great, but also the individual 1v1s really not great. And now a 4 versus 2 retake. The bomb goes down. They've recovered some weapons back. There's 3 of them stacked on ramp. No Molotov. Actually, there is. Excuse me. But it'll go directly in onto the site. I don't know, man. I feel like the save would be a great decision here. Oh, Sinator with the very final bullet in his deagle finds a quick one. Trying to go for the jump in dig. He's close. He's close. Maybe one more and he could have got it, but he just allows his teammates to clean things up. That'll be the first round for SG.PRO, and they get it off the back of the deagles. Ah, frustration once again for the HONORIS boys.
I don't know why they're going for that. I think that's a really bad call. 2 on 4, hardly any utility. It's just not worth it. They throw a lot away there. SG.PRO, man, those deagles are insane. They got some great openings. And you're right. I'm not sure what the call was to kind of move a stack over that B bomb site. Stomp was looking out towards long and had no idea there was any short commitment coming through. And that's just reset the money line for HONORIS. They're going to have to go on an eco in their own behalf. SG.PRO, what an opportunity to be able to put some rounds up on the board and get some confidence going.
Ah, man, that inconsistency we talk about, right, within games and whatnot. Yeah, it's just such a puzzling decision. Look, it's like if you get these crazy 1Ds, and we did see a couple of nice ones come in, for sure. But like the kill onto Neo, he's shot in the side of the head. He's completely caught off guard. You know, there was definitely things they could have done, to nullify the opportunities SG.PRO had. Easy cleanups. Easy cleanups.
Good cleanup. That's good to see. And I tell you what, the numbers game for HONORIS is looking slightly unorthodox with Taz at 10 kills and everyone else at 2 or below. So they sort of yet to get going, but you've got to think in this matchup here, Stomp has really got to be the linchpin, the star performer, and he needs to be trying to out-AWP Kise. AWP's out for both sides. HONORIS looking to see if they can keep their lead rather than tying us up at 3 apiece. Double boost out for short for HONORIS.
Trying not to be phased by the force buy that they lost, the setback they maybe didn't need to take. Early aggression coming in. Kind of unfortunate because there's no one really around short, to be honest. I think Kise was waiting at the top end, but yeah, all this pressure, all this time actually being spent at short, ultimately to no avail. And long comes very easy for SG.PRO. The quick push in, the basic utility down. There's a massive gap in that smoke, so we might need to see another one from them. We do need to be careful. There's still a gap in it, but it'll do. It's a bit better. Nonetheless, Neo hiding in on site. He's going to have to pop off. He's lost his support. The smoke will begin to dissipate in just a few seconds. He's literally planting right next to Neo as he comes through. Gets one a second as well. Lucky to find 2. Oh, clean headshot onto the player behind Car. That makes all the difference. The 3 versus 2 as Dire and Kise look to hold on as best they can. No kits available and interesting plays. Spray down not landing. It's all onto Kise. He's not forced off the angle, but he's missing his shots. Too many players. Doesn't land anything. And HONORIS will hold on to their lead.
Oh, that was very interesting coming out from SG.PRO, and well, even just the basis of the round that we saw the struggles, the gap in the left side of that smoke, they re-smoke it again, there's still a gap. They make their way onto the site, but they just go for a bomb plant immediately. They don't clear out Neo's position, the retake comes in, and you've got to think, even if they just waited for a little bit longer to just make sure to clear out all the positions before getting that bomb down, they would have been able to hold on to an advantage. A retake mode from HONORIS, and for the T's, they just wanted to fight.
Oh, nice stuff from Stomp. As SG.PRO coming into this round a bit angry. Unsuccessful though. Long control this time around from HONORIS is pretty damn solid. Double up setup as well. Neo on it. You talked about the ways of old, or the days of old, I should say, where Neo did indeed have a bit of experience on the AWP. I seem to remember it was a thing that Virtus.Pro did whenever some results or some events didn't go their way. Yeah. They would swap the AWP around between Pasha and Neo. I think even towards the end, Snacks was on it.
Yeah, they swapped it around a lot back in the day. But it's good to see that he's got his hands on the secondary AWP. Again, this is going to be a walk up through long. So at the moment, HONORIS actually have no idea that they're this close to the site.
Oh, awkward. The gap in the smoke again comes in. I don't know. There's this smoke on site. Is that meant to be there? I'm not really sure. Great flash. Rico sets himself up. A very, very, very lackluster end to that round from SG.PRO as HONORIS just able to breeze their way through to a 5th.
Something's seriously not right with the utility for SG.PRO. So either that smoke on the site was either meant to be there, or the secondary one just didn't come in for the cross, but you just got to be landing your utility at A. And that's one of the things with Dust 2, especially executing to that A bomb side. If you're not putting your utility down properly, it can make it so difficult. What is not difficult, though, is using these fantastic codes from Hellcase.com, Malta-V and Malta-V15, to get a little bit of cash in your pocket and a 15% refill bonus. But this is a bonus. The bomb gets dropped and Ryko gets 2 kills.
Just charging straight in. Beautiful stuff. In terms of the timing, definitely lucky there that they had the utility in hand. Might just be enough for them to work with. Or Stomp able to get around the corner and stay alive, retaining the man advantage here for HONORIS. Now SG.PRO have to go for another avenue of attack. They are definitely out of ideas here, just chilling around in middle. Do they approach A again? Do they try B, where it might be a bit weaker if they rotate across? Not quite sure. I mean, we haven't seen anything cross from the double doors, but that doesn't mean there hasn't been any rotations. We might have just missed it. They're going to try and charge in. Flashbang does not deal with Stomp at all. Molly will eventually push him into a bit of an awkward spot, but he's done his work. He's spotted them out. All this utility coming in. He knows there's more. Stomp not missing. Third on the silver platter. Oh, for Prism, though, who comes in from the side and steals away the 3k from Stomp. Nonetheless, HONORIS with a super clean round once again. The double upsell really paying dividends, and SG.PRO, although explosive and finding themselves a cheeky round on the Deagles, they have hit a very early brick wall.
Yeah, they have. They've not been able to sort of claw themselves out of this. The Orbs are doing so much work. Stomp in particular hitting some really nice shots in that last round. And SG.PRO have got to kind of go back to the drawing board, I think. You know, take a bit of a tactical and sort of go, okay, what's going on here? We won that Deagle round and was able to get a follow-up, but now it's just all falling apart. Even just trying to get mid control is being a little bit difficult. Oh, the timing from Neo could not get worse.
Rough. He wants some frags, man. He wants a piece of the action. Stomp's getting all the AWP kills, but he wants some. He's just not getting them. He's just not getting them. He's a bit unlucky. I suppose someone for the HONORIS side has got to be unlucky every game. Last round it was Taz in a big way. This round it's Neo ever so slightly. We'll see whether it continues and whether his luck... Okay, will change. It will indeed. He finds the frag onto Fame. Got to be careful here. Does manage to get a second. Staying alive on the USP. Neo! Okay. Called him into question at the start of the round, and he just suddenly stops missing. And that will be that. Are You Fire on the edge of the smoke is able to find the head of Taz. But surely the round not going to happen. Prism finding the final frag, and HONORIS looking good across the board with the rifles in these close retake scenarios and up against the anti-eco, anti-force buy situations as well. Really good stuff across the board. I'm impressed. HONORIS turning things around in a big way on their map pick.
This is very interesting. It kind of seems like no one can play T-side at the moment. We saw in that first map that SG.PRO went 12-3 up on their CT side, and HONORIS are looking just deadly. They're looking really supportive at the moment, but they're getting some really great crossfires. They're doing a lot of utility damage, and the AWPs are just finding picks after picks. If it's not Stomp, it's Neo, and if it's not Neo, it's Stomp. SG.PRO, they need a response, and they pretty much need one now.
Been somewhat of an off angle once again. Another problem for SG.PRO to deal with, and they don't quite know it just yet. Looks like it will be a short approach once again. Seems to be a very, very, very shallow playbook for SG.PRO. And this again might come down to some of that discipline and whatnot that you were talking about, where it's like, okay, look, usually the short play works really well, guys, but today not so much. Let's try something else. However, I feel like this team are like, nah, we got to keep doing this until it works. Although I like this. That's kind of cool. The CT smoke, sort of, I think, a little weird, but it fakes them out. It confuses the CT side, and that's what it was designed to do. Stomp just gets caught in transition, thinking they were coming from short. Prism finding one, needs to get a few more. Not going to happen for him. Taz, meanwhile, back plat. Super effective here in the pistol. Can he continue the trend on the AUG? I mean, he stays alive, which is great, because the rotations are coming in pretty speedily here. Oh, key frag for Are You Fire, meanwhile, and they're able to molly out Taz. Seems they've weathered the storm, unless big man Neo can clutch things 1v3 with the AWP.
Oh, this could be big. Neo's got everything to do. Bomb just going to get planted in time. They know exactly where Neo is. And I tell you what, I mean, you look at the numbers game and people might think, oh, you know, Taz has gone really quiet. No, Taz has just been the B defender, and they haven't got B for so long now. A bit of a distraction pulled to that A bomb side to fake that they were going for a short commitment. They run into the mid to B, no CT smoke. They take Stomp out immediately. And from there, they just overwhelm that B bomb site. The double AWP's not finding impact in that last round. And that's more like it from SG.PRO. And just getting that firepower through, getting the trades in. And unfortunately for Taz, after some really sick holds of that B bomb site, finally gets trumped up. And now they get an opening pick.
Okay. Okay. Their fate seems to be turning around, at least slightly. Stomp able to flick onto Are You Fire. Simple for him. Oh, nice double nade coming in. Fame is in between the two of them, so he takes kind of minimal damage, but still looking pretty damn good, particularly with Neo finding that frag. 4 versus 3. Should be doable here for HONORIS. They need to be careful not to get caught isolated. However, Fame doing what Fame does. Still a 3 versus 3. He's kind of baiting them out, though. This is really good. Once again, HONORIS are just completely caught off guard by the fact that there's one at middle. These bloody smokes need some work, but, like, they are going to make it across towards the A bomb site and get the plant. We'll see. The smoke's not punished for them in this round. Eventually, surely someone's just going to get like a double spray down off the edge of one of them. All the same, retake is on for HONORIS.
Neo, this actually might pull in the save now. As soon as Neo goes down, they're probably thinking, we don't have a lot of money. Do we really want to try and go for this? Looks like Rako and Taz want to see if they can find anything. Fame's pushed up very aggressively to this smoke, and they're just going to walk straight past each other. Fame, oh my goodness, he still finds a pick there. And you're absolutely right, Scriv. The fact that, like, if it's one round that you miss the smoke, you go, okay, like, fair enough. It's one round. It's not going to happen again. We've seen it maybe 3, maybe even 4 times now that they've had a gap in that crossover smoke. And it's just unacceptable. Surely there's going to be a moment where they go, right, we've seen like 4 players cross. Let's just spam and just like absolutely obliterate them.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird. They do. It seems like the utility from them is just a bit strange. Ultimately, like. The fake smoke, sure, it wins them around, but I don't really know what it was designed to do. It just really, I guess because it's weird, I think it was maybe designed to be like a copy of the dribble smoke, perhaps, or maybe meant to go into CT, but it was like somewhere in between those 2 angles. Stomp did get confused. Stomp did decide to reposition because he thought they were coming in from from short, and they'd been messing smokes up a fair amount, so I don't know. But yeah, maybe that is for SG.PRO. They're just approaching things here on the T side. Very, very puggy, very little utility knowledge, it seems. Like, they know that they need it, they just don't quite have the clean lineups. And to me, it's like when you have that big gap in the smoke and whatnot, it definitely seems as though you're throwing it from a few feet away rather than a lineup that you've worked out and it just bounces wrong. You've just miscalculated. Because it's a really weird area. There's a lot of bumps and whatnot that can really throw smokes off. So yeah, missed preparation perhaps from SG.PRO in that sense. Missed shots from Senator at the start of this round will give Neo a nice clean opener.
Just trying to set themselves up for the B site XC by the looks of things, and well, for both of the B players, they are super aggressive. Both Prism and Taz. That resmoke coming down actually comes out perfectly in time. Are they going to rotate a 3rd player? Now, Neo can be on a very quick rotate. With those doors flipped, you can often play quite deep outside of mid and still get a sight line into the site now.
We go, moving in. Great little setup, like you say, for the CT side. Trades coming in nice and easy. Neo's here in quick succession. They're all distracted and just getting picked apart by the CT defense. Beautiful. Absolute magic from HONORIS to pick up the 8th. And SG.PRO finally there. I suppose gold dust will run out and they have to go once again back to the drawing board and figure out how to put a stop to HONORIS here, who have now secured themselves the 8 rounds, the victory in the half. Can they keep it rolling? That's the next question. With the double up setup, I think it is definitely doable once again.
And it's certainly showing the lack of tactical depth, I believe, from SG.PRO on this T side. They're looking very scrappy at the moment. And you can kind of understand it, considering it's a map they don't play all too often and don't have the best of results on it. But you've got to think you've got to be more competitive on this T side, and at least a good opening stance. They take down Stomp, the main man that's been hitting a lot of impact kills at the moment. But the City side, they've just taken up a tunnels control. They've got so much information now.
Oh, Prism. Should have been finding that one, to be honest, buddy. Does barely any damage as well. So the A hit, vulnerable, not going to be weakened up by the flank. Are You Fire even comes back for revenge. The 4 versus 2 ensues. Taz does finally manage to find the frag onto Are You Fire, but might be too little too late. The bomb goes down. They are miles away, and I say they, but it suddenly becomes 1. I think Taz should just look to save. He will indeed, as SG.PRO straight back into things. Curious to see maybe whether or not SG.PRO seems to be more comfortable on the CT side of things. That does seem to be the case, actually, Dwayne, just looking at those kind of raw statistics, which are often a little misleading. So 5 or 6 rounds might be enough for SG.PRO to work with. And I think the should come. I don't see them buying into this on the CT side.
Yeah, this has got to be a pretty harsh eco. Neo doesn't have a lot of money. The rest of them have a decent amount, so they can go for some P250s or some Deagles if they want. But at the same time, you want to be getting yourself a really good buy going into round 15. Considering the fact that even, like, no matter how many kills come through, SG.PRO are probably still going to be able to get a buy-in. They don't have a great amount of money in the reserve, but at the same time, you want to be focusing on that next round, getting those rifles back in. And the stack out's long, and D-Ray is going to be like, help, guys, there's a lot here.
Or is he? I mean, he wants his frags, dude. He does have a bit of assistance. Oh, okay, yeah, he definitely needed that help. He's the only one to get taken down here. I saw with the clean headshot, maybe he was just going to mow them down as they came through, but it really wasn't the case. That's the only one left, should be dealt with. The next round is the pressure for HONORIS. As I like the idea for rushing in, but obviously not going to find very much off the back of it. Yeah, they really do need to be finding this final round, bring it to a comfortable little lead of 3 rounds going into the second half. Then they can think about the pistol and buy themselves a lot of breathing room to work with. Of course, their tournament life on the line in this map. Their pick looked good initially, but SG.PRO have suddenly turned things around towards the tail end. It's not super dominant from them, respectively, but like they are hot on the heels, let's say, of HONORIS.
Yeah, certainly. And yeah, to kind of add on that point of Scriv, the winner of this game is going to be taking on Aves for a spot in the playoffs. So you've got a difficult task in this matchup. You've got an even more difficult task against another Polish side of Aves in that next best of 3. And SG.PRO going back to the B bomb side, they haven't really found a lot of success at B. Surprisingly, they're going for another execution.
Something different. They're needing something fresh, perhaps. Prism and Stomp are going to be so blind. So, I mean, the gap is definitely closed. 1-for-1 immediately there. Prism's still alive. Finds that second, which is massive. And maybe an opportunity to get a few more here. Neo coming in from window. Oh, but Prism is just holding it down. The one-man army. Dire the only one left. 1 versus 4. Might be able to trade 1 or 2 back, but that's not really going to matter at the end of the half. Taz denies him the chance at any. And HONORIS will get themselves the 9th.
And I don't know why they hit B. I mean, they've found hardly any success at B. Sometimes they've gone in for the mid to B commitment and they've been decent, but those sort of just straight executions to B have just never really worked. And they pay the price for it. HONORIS to go up 9 rounds. Not bad at all. SG.PRO, they've got to find a response here, and it's got to come off the back of the pistol. A fair bit of utility up for HONORIS, the 2 players of Taz and Neo. Oh, okay, I think we're going to get a round reset here, Scriv. Oh, even the odds, though.
To be the case. Interesting, right? Interesting. They're pretty confident in HONORIS coming into the second half, our loot bet. So we'll see. We'll see. Got to put their money where their mouth is, of course. Use code Malta. There's a banner down below. You can get yourself 10 free spins and 100 bonus euros on your first deposit.
Sounds all right. That sounds pretty decent to me.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all, mate. Who doesn't love free things, to be honest?
Mate, when you go to the supermarket and they give you, like, the free tastings, mate, anything free, I'll take it.
Yeah, to be honest. You don't knock it until you tried it kind of thing, right? Like...
Well... HONORIS, maybe they're going to go for a B-site execution. They've got a fair bit of utility to work with, and this angle, they need to deal with D-Ray immediately. This is how Taz completely shut down. It's almost a mirror of the first pistol round of Dust 2.
Yeah, not quite, though, because this time, he's going to get taken down instantly. Keys are the only ones who have found a frag so far. The pistol looking incredibly dominant from HONORIS once again, but Fame and RU Fire catching them with their pants down. 1 on the back end, 1 in from window. Fame just not missing at all. Prism 1 versus 2 required for him. He knows vaguely where they're at, and he gets that second. It definitely looks difficult, but he's able to pull it out of the bag, and HONORIS, by the skin of their teeth, get the 10th, as well as that all-important pistol.
Well, well, well. The start looked fantastic for HONORIS, dealing with the player towards backplat immediately. And it got a bit interesting there when we saw some of the rotators being able to pull up some pretty good defensive kills, but in the end, a good clutch coming out from Prism. And we've seen some pretty good clutching abilities from him so far today. Certainly on this map. Big round to go through. A Nova out for D-Ray. Huh. Okay.
I mean, sure, could work.
Could do.
Hunting
if they
season,
go B,
you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't look like they're going to go B, in all honesty. Early tags, Stomp landing one onto Fame. Does take a bit of damage himself, and we will see a creep from Fame towards Kai. He's just going to hide away and bait out RU Fire, essentially, who does get one. Certainly not bad at all. Cannot overlook the car angle here, guys. Oh, get a molly in there or something. He's going to catch the head of one. The information comes in a bit late. Thankfully, the flash over the top disorientates him enough, but certainly kind of looking doable. The automatic weaponry able to come out on top. The Nova. The jumping Nova. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh! All right, Neo. Okay.
Oh!
What's going on? This round has turned upside down. Senator with 3 headshots out of nowhere. It looked like it was over. It looked like Neo was going to be the hero with the flashy shots. But no, Senator, hold my beer. Watch this, boys.
What? I just don't even... He had no idea. That third kill. Oh my goodness, Senator with a diggle. The jumping Nova gets absolutely deleted, and Senator... Like, what? I don't think I've seen a crazy deagle 1-on-3 like that in Tier 2 Counter-Strike in quite some time.
That's mad. That is crazy. A huge round. And again, what SG.PRO are capable of. This firepower is insane. Maybe get them some decent structure and experience player, something along those lines. I think it's something that we, again, have touched on Gambit youngsters. Their coach, Finn, is, you know, an old 1.6 pro and has a lot of that structural and experience to bring to the team. And I feel like it's what these kind of young players need, is just a bit of stability to help them, to guide them in the right direction. Pretty clean round coming in here. Sinatorin with 4. He is fired up after that previous round, which does indeed make sense. Now up to 20 kills, just like that. 8th round for SG.PRO. I think they only lose 1 there. Yeah, just RU Fire going down. So nice and clean. HONORIS not really able to find anything off the back of the buy up there. So going to see the Miko into this one, and SG.PRO will bring it within 1 before we see the rifles.
I think you're absolutely right. I think if they just get some sort of CIS coach who's like an old veteran player or someone like that, just to kind of give them, like you said, a bit of structure, a bit of experience, then this team can go so far because they've got the firepower. There's no doubt about it. HONORIS, well, what are they really going to find out of this? Just a few Glocks, going to try and run out mid to B. And it's Senator again and D-Ray. They could shut this all down. Easy as that. Ooh, that was pretty quick. No kills, no bomb plant, no nothing. And SG.PRO are getting closer and closer to tying up the scoreline.
Here we go, HONORIS defending their lead on the second map. Of course, as you notice, that little notch does mean that SG.PRO picked up the first. So HONORIS, their tournament life on the line with this one, and they do not want this lead to slip away so easily. Seemed like only moments ago it was 10-6. All of a sudden, it's 10-9, and they're slightly shaky, slightly sweaty, a little worried, perhaps. Or maybe not. We'll see how the round turns out.
2 players at long. RU Fire and Keysay to see if they can sell a bit of a crossfire. That MP9 wants to get so aggressive up close and personal. This could be multiple kills, but only 1, but a massive amount of damage done onto Raiko. You've got to think for SG.PRO, they could be a bit disappointed they didn't get 2 kills there. And Neo has come alive out through short. We are seeing individual plays back to back from both sides on Dust 2. And you've got to think now for HONORIS, they just need to work together to A.
Neo is absolutely nuts, looking to hold things off on the back end as well. I'm going to try and isolate him here. D3 does drop him, so short control regained. And although a 2 versus 3, it could very quickly spiral out of control. We have Raiko all the way back in pit, so can't really help these site players very much. Prism on half HP. Not impossible. Not impossible. And like you say, plenty of cash, so they might as well go for it. Prism doing really well, though, to hide away. Stomp also doing really well to just hide away. The gap going to close, the time ticking down, the pressure mounts up, and Stomp finds that first frag, looking for the second, should be doable, it is indeed, gets it on the 3rd repeak, the 11th for HONORIS. They will hold on to their lead. However small, it is important to keep doing so. Meanwhile, SG.PRO able to buy back up, so not quite out of the woods yet for the Polish side.
Big man Neo. What a round come out from him. And it's honestly so surprising to see both Taz and Neo that are leading the amount of kills for the HONORIS side, the two veteran players. Seems like the youngsters are not performing as high as some of the veteran players, which is something you don't see very often with this HONORIS side. A good round nevertheless. They were able to pick up an 11th. Fame though, oh, he could catch off Neo if he just gets caught with nades out, and that's an easy kill.
Oh, Dire maybe again should have found a few more there. Senator aggressive, questionably. The advantage that they had, the control in the round that they had, has now been thrown up into the air. No kits available. It is going to be difficult to retake this B-bomb site. They're here pretty quickly at the very least. A couple of them grouped up. Prism and Stomp, gotta be careful of their HP bars. But time ticking away. The move into the site has to come soon. And the great angle from Taz actually doesn't work out. I thought he had them dead to rights there. Fame just not missing. Flicking around all over the shop, looking for the third. It doesn't come for him, but it does for RU Fire. And SG.PRO straight back in with the 10th. The money for HONORIS not really going to be there. I think with the bomb plant, they should just be able to buy up. But all the same, SG.PRO hot on their heels. Ah, no, the loss bonus wasn't as high as I thought it was. Damn.
That's going to be awkward. And you've got to think, even though SG.PRO won that retake, like, it looked pretty good on the retake, sometimes the decision-making is something that we've questioned. The fact that Senator is fighting there in a 4-3, there's no reason. He can just fall back, hold on to that man advantage, and retake as a unit. There's some unfortunate duels in the end. And they're going to force the issue. Oh, great shot coming out from Stomp. But that's what they need in a round like this.
A hero, indeed. He looks so good on that scout, actually. It's kind of weird.
Ooh.
Absolutely loves it. That's some big nade damage coming on the return, though. Yeah, this is going to make a large difference to the long hit. Although, they're opting to drop back. Playing it safe. Not taking any risks. Going to go for short control. I kind of like this idea, actually. There is a player down there, of course, but they can drop him. It does give them a bit of something to work with. Fame with the clean flick across. We'll bring it back into a 4 versus 4. We'll see. HONORIS, they do have the long control, but what can they get done with it? There's so many CTs here to hold them off.
Oh, Fame's running a backstab too. Are they going to boost a player up to check over the top of this smoke for HONORIS? A lot of spam damage doing done. D-Ray drops that bomb. All the information's here. Everyone's stacked up for this bomb site. Fame on the backstab. Can't deal with Stomp. But a 3-on-3, look how low some of these players are on the T side. 1-for-1 coming through, and now the bomb's going to get planted. It's all down to Ryko and Prism, the younger players on this side, and it's all down to the orb. Senator has got so much work to do in this 1-on-3. We've seen him come alive in some big plays before, and it's with the AWP. He's got to find this shot instantly, Ryko, to take him out. A 12th round up for HONORIS, resetting the money line for the CT side. What a round for the Poles.
Absolutely massive. Timing of it is perfect as well. SG.PRO have to fend off with a very weak buy indeed. They do have some rifles, but it's that utility that we look towards. Need to win these early fights. They kind of know it. I like the aggression towards long. Maybe they even keep going with this. Very least going to keep RU Fire around, get him into a sneaky spot, sneaky little corner. Or even going to try and take the fight through the doors. Somewhat risky, but there you are. Long control secured. For now, they don't really have the utility to hold it off if HONORIS decide to come in, raining the flashes over the top. But it looks like that's not going to be the case. Judging by the positioning and the body language, I would say they're maybe going to go for a mid to B. But once again, looking like some short pressure at the very least here.
They've got options, certainly. Using a bit of util up towards short. I mean, there's always that option of just using a fake out towards A and then wrapping back in through mid to B. They've got to realize in a round like this that either they're up against an eco or it's going to be a full buy. And if it is a full buy or a force, then they're not going to have a lot to work with reading the economy line. Very light utility out for the CTs. Taz dropping through. This is the mid to B play. What?
Ooh, what? Are you Fire? Double through the smoke. Turning the round upside down once again. I guess over the top of the smoke. The CT smoke wasn't good enough, I suppose. That's insane. And he might just have saved the round for them here. We'll see. Caught out in the open by Neo as they go for a quick response towards that A bomb site. Very quick indeed. AK's retrieved, but again, no kits available. Deep flash coming in to just buy a bit of time for Sinator. Crispy shots needed. They're split up as well, but Sinator gets a drop onto Neo. It's going to be Stomp in this 1 versus 2. He knows where one player's coming from. Doesn't expect the player at long, but flicks across to take him down. Dire, how have you not found that? Stomp's now got the chance in on this round. Would be absolutely massive if he can get it, and he's got the drop as well. The quick spin around, but it doesn't matter. Stomp, super clean 1 versus 2. Does not miss. This entire game, it feels like some massive moments coming out from him.
Oh, the long player. That should have been an easy kill onto Stomp, and one mistake from the CT side, and Stomp just capitalizes on it instantly. He should have got traded like a split second. It should have come through so much quicker. And turning it to a 1-on-1, Stomp, he just comes alive. Hits some fantastic shots. It's going to be another force-up for SG.PRO. They don't want to give up 14 rounds for HONORIS. A good start coming out from Kisei. Okay, this is now a 5-on-3.
It seems these riskier rounds, the looser rounds, work a lot better for them. Ooh, Neo, though. The crispness continues from him. Dire with a cheeky right-click nade, swings out, and Neo will get taken down. Some of the moments clean, some of the moments a bit panicked from the old guard. 4 versus 2 coming in. Dire dead through the smoke, however. If it had stayed alive there, could have been pretty big for his team. Not going to be the case. So at the very least, the bomb plant for HONORIS. Still a man disadvantage. 1 smoke left for them. So not a lot they can do. Trade coming in thick and fast, but Prism again! A massive step up from one of the HONORIS players. How do they continue to get away with this? 3rd map on the horizon as... Man, Stomp in the previous round, Prism into this one. They are playing so well under this pressure.
I'll tell you what, they're clutching. They are clutching a mountain of rounds in this second half. We saw Stomp in the last, Prism, well, that last one, Stomp the previous, and another force buy coming out from SG.PRO. This is what we saw in the best of 1, force buy after force buy after force buy. They're looking for an answer in, and I'll tell you what, I don't think HONORIS is going to give it to them.
Definitely seem to have tightened things up since losing the crazy Deagle round from Sinator early on. Now, HONORIS, who are pulling out some crazy rounds, I suppose, and they are having a much bigger effect, it has to be said. Execute onto the B-bomb site once again. Dire on high. Keys as well. Able to pick up Raiko over at middle, that is. Meanwhile, Dire up top does drop 1. Any more than this, it's a crime, but Sinator is capitalizing on the distracted T side. Got to be careful. Neo comes in with a double on the backside. Again, headshot through someone else. What has happened? 1 versus 2 for him, though, with no bomb and lack of information. It's going to be tough, but maybe not impossible. Is it his turn? Is it his turn? 25 HP? I don't know. Does he get this done? He's going for a massive reposition to try and catch Sinator off guard. Not a lot of time for him to work with. This one I'm not quite believing as massively, but with the way these past rounds have been going, I am really not writing it off just yet.
It's going to be what looks to see if they can go for another big clutch attempt. Neo, does he spot the angle? He's seen Sinator can't win out that fight. And again, SG.PRO, considering how lackluster their economy is, the fact that they're just trying to hunt Neo down and just take 1-on-1 Angels, they can't let that happen. A big 11th round up for SG.PRO, massive from Sinator. And I tell you what, he's performing on a very high level on Dust 2, especially in this second half.
Yeah, he's been a beast. Damn, though, it shows how close these rounds have been, right? Like, HONORIS with 3 or 4 in a row, I'm pretty sure, and...
Yeah.
As soon as they lose one, they're on to the eco. SG.PRO, a bit of breathing room, bit of time to clear their minds for the next rifle round. Sinator, once again, got an opportunity at middle. Gets a couple. Lovely stuff. Give me those stats. What's happened here, though? Key's going to get dropped. Let's not lose any more players, I think, to this buy. Fame also incredibly crisp. Lovely. It's really strange to see, isn't it? These types of rounds where, like, It's cool, man. They can play it calm. The jacket's off. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're only on pistols, and they just, like, take their time, play it patiently. And then against rifles, in this situation, you'd see Fame hold mouse 1 and get, like, 1 kill, and then 20 bullets just miss completely, you know?
It is kind of weird how that happens, isn't it? It's, yeah. Fundamentals, I suppose, that SG.PRO need to kind of work on a little bit more on their gun rounds. But this round right here for the SG.PRO side is pretty much vital for their comeback. A long challenge coming out. Now, RU-Fire has been very close to this longhouse before, but every time he's kind of played it, he's only really ever found 1 kill, never a double or a triple.
Here we go. Do or die for SG.PRO on Dust 2. RU-Fire so blind up close. Able to just dip round the corner. Doesn't have the chance to get any shots off, though. Meanwhile, again, great response coming in from SG.PRO as they will look to go for the short control, dropping Neo and bringing it back into a 4-on-4. They're happy to lose control of long, maybe even the site itself, so long as they can keep things even. Ooh, okay, interesting approach here. I mean, the reload, that timing is nuts. Fame able to drop 1. HONORIS opting not to move forwards with the utility. Kiza finding the head, finding a second on the edge of the smoke as well. All down to Raiko, who's already got 2. Bringing it close. Might be able to get the plant in, but of course these rotations are in pretty quick. He swapped across to an AK. Great little flash. Drops 1. Brings it down to a 1 versus 1. Clutch after clutch after clutch. The last one denied. Will this one be the same? He's on 25 HP. And Dire, for the love of SG.PRO, need to take it down.
They can't let this happen. They can't let the ace go to Raiko. And he's playing time. He's playing incredibly passive. He's going to start to rotate in through short and kind of give himself a little bit of a different angle to work with. Now, for Raiko's sake, he needs to make sure that he's actually getting this bomb down in time. Planting safe. No, Dire's actually going out to the long. I'm not sure if Raiko's going to expect this, but you've got to think on 25 HP, all the advance goes to the CT side. Oh, we could see the spray attempt coming through. But Dire, what a round to win. That is a massive clutch. At the same time, though, that was a 4-on-1 advantage for SG.PRO.
Very true. Very, very true. And we'll see into the next round. It's not going to affect their economy too poorly, but don't want them to be coming that close. We did see, of course, right? As soon as HONORIS lost a round, despite having so many in a row, immediate eco. Yeah, goodness me. It's really, really turning up towards the end here. Very, very hot on Dust. It's already hot enough. The sun out all the time. And they're in so many layers. You know?
Yeah.
To be honest. But definitely heating up.
It is. And what is the most surprising thing is that SG.PRO looks so strong in the early and mid round, but it's the late round where things start to crumble. Out mid to B, no smoke for CT, and RU-Fire, that's probably the easiest couple of kills he's found today.
Yeah. No skin off his back at all. Dire looking to take a piece of the pie as well. All onto Prism. Bomb drop to the feet of the CTs, so shouldn't really be anything coming for him here. Okay, does get a dink. Trying to finish off on the frag, but nasty Fame comes in close, and he's on full HP. So no kills for HONORIS all the way down to the wire. We will be having all 30 rounds of regulation. The question of overtime looms. The victory is also a big question. HONORIS, I mean, they need to be picking this one up because the final buy, if they lose it, not going to be that good for them. AWP in hand, plenty of utility, no excuses for either side.
Now, if SG.PRO lose this round, they'll be able to buy going into round 30, but HONORIS probably won't unless they get a bomb plant as well. It's still going to be a lackluster economy, and Fame is so aggressive, and he's completely blind. Oh, and he doesn't even fire. He just lets them pass. The AWP from Kise is getting pressured. Look how quick this is from HONORIS.
Super fast stuff. They tried it from long, they try it from short this time. It appears to be a bit more successful. They've taken control of the site. Do have some low HP bars. I don't know with this if there's maybe an argument to just go for the save. They have like no information at all. And yeah, Raiko just creeping in from the back end, taking 2 heads. That'll be a definite save now. And HONORIS will hit 15 first.
Okay. Well, there is a chance for OT. How big is that chance? We'll just have to wait and see. And HONORIS are going hunting. Now, even with their money line low, they realize the fact if we can just take 1 weapon, maybe 2 at most, out of the hands of the CT side, it would mean so much for us in round 30. Ooh, Kisei. Oh, he just stays alive. Oh, no, but Raiko's in the back line. You'd have to think Kisei's going down. He's got 4 points of health.
Okay, he does get 1. Thought he was out, but no, of course, Taz that second man in. And that's pretty big. That is pretty big. If you look at the money here, they could indeed go for the AWP, but, like, it's very, very difficult to do so. Dire has to drop it across, and he is left with no utility at all. Rest of the team, kind of okay. There's no kit. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. They're always confident in their early engagements on the SG.PRO side of things. Of course, overtime, the best that they can hope for here on Dust 2. Meanwhile, HONORIS looking to clean things up. Take us to that third map, Vertigo. Maybe even get the reverse sweep in this series. An incredibly exciting second map for us, however, regardless of how it ends.
Absolutely. HONORIS showing up. Short molly coming out for Taz. And that may force Kisei back into the site. Ooh, even taking a bit of damage trying to work around that molly. Don't really like to see that.
Very slow round here. HONORIS trying this utility-less long hit again, I think. Yeah, quick flash and a burst. That's indeed what they'll go for. These two players on site, somewhat unprepared for this. They are massively utility coming out, and it's just so ill-placed. Sinator finds the head of one. Gonna have to find a few more. Fame coming in from short. The spray down doesn't quite connect. Sinator desperate to get another frag going the way of the CT side. He gets traded out, and the 1 versus 2 for Dire to keep them alive. 1 versus 1 now. Has no idea where Neo is at. Neo needs to win this. Defuse coming in for Dire. The peak from short. Tags coming through, but Neo finds the headshot in the end, and 16-14 for HONORIS. They'll take it over the line just... And we will be going to Vertigo in a few moments' time. But goodness gracious me, that is an incredibly exciting second map.
Now, one thing you mentioned, Screw, at the beginning of that last round was no kits. Now, if they had a kit on Dire, then he could have just stuck that bomb, because there was no way that Neo was going to be able to defend that. And I'll tell you what, towards the end of the map, I would say the SG.PRO were playing better, but HONORIS were winning those clutches. They had, what, like 3 or 4 big clutches on that T side in the second half, and that's what gave them that momentum to be able to kind of win that round, then the eco, and put rounds up on the board. They just held on. That was a very close second map.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. I think SG.PRO are going to be kicking themselves a little bit that they weren't able to clean up some of those rounds, and obviously could have made all the difference. And it does. Not only do they lose the rounds, but they also lose money with it and all that kind of stuff, right? And allowing some of the non-clutches, as it were, to come so close also costs them in the long run. So some very, very messy results in the end. But as you can see, the kills from Fame still stacking up. I believe this is across the course of the series, by the way. 56 kills on one map would be nuts and kind of impossible to die 36 times. Just to highlight, I know some people would need a bit of clarification for that one.
That's unreal. Like, to think that he's been able to put up almost 60 kills across 2 maps, you'd have to think, like, going into Vertigo, it could be even more coming out for Fame. Senator really showed up a great performance in that second map. It was a little bit quiet on Mirage, but we are going to go to a short little break. We'll have Vertigo as the 3rd map of the series to kind of see exactly how that goes. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short commercial.
Welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you, of course, by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. We are just about ready for that third map, Vertigo. Going to be another scrappy affair. 16-14 on Dust 2. HONORIS just about able to take it over the line. Vertigo, although different in many ways from Dust 2, I think is going to perhaps provide a similar kind of game.
It really is. I've been able to capture HONORIS a few times on this map. I've been pretty disappointed with them. I've been able to capture SG.PRO a few times on this map and been pretty disappointed with them. So Vertigo coming in is a bit of a weird one because it's kind of a poor map for both sides. So I think it's going to be really scrappy. I think it's going to be very down to the wire. And I think we're going to see a very similar scoreline to Dust 2 rather than something like a Mirage.
Yeah, for sure. I think both these teams going to look to exploit some of those weaknesses. And fatigue kind of setting in a little bit as well. You play a lot of Counter-Strike there on Dust 2 and you've got 10 minutes in between. You've got to reset. And then you've got to come into the map that, well, ideally, neither team wanted to play. It is going to be very, very scrappy indeed. I think we're going to see these teams starting off on that T side. It definitely is the favored one, but at the same time, not a lot of teams like to start there. However, I think in this particular matchup, they might just opt to do so. I think we are just waiting for one more player to jump in. So hopefully, like I say, should be into the action quickly. I suppose while this is on the screen as well, Fame has been very, very impressive for sure. But I have to kind of point some fingers in a good way that, for me, Senator really stepping up on Dust 2 and bailing them out.
Yeah, Senator had an amazing performance. I mean, that Deagle 1v3 was ridiculous, but just his consistency across that second map was very impressive. And you've got to think that going into map 3, if he can just even fire up to 80-90% of what we saw in Dust 2, then that'll be a big positive going into a map like Vertigo. I certainly think that the Orbs can have a lot of impact. We saw that on Dust 2, and a little bit on Mirage, maybe more so on Dust 2. The Orbs finding a lot of impact and a lot of multi-frags. Stop in particular looked pretty solid on that HONORIS side with that AWP. The one thing that kind of worries me for HONORIS, though, going into Vertigo is that are we going to see that clutching potential again? Because you think for SG.PRO, if one or two clutches that went the way of HONORIS went the other way and went the way of the Russian side, that probably could have been a 2-0 for SG.PRO.
Yeah, there is a lot of kind of internal stuff, but then at the same time, a bit unlucky. Like it I think errs on both sides. But yeah, SG.PRO maybe going to be kicking themselves a little bit, and that rebound coming into this third map might be hard for them. It's hard to tell. It is hard to tell. One thing that SG.PRO have is the fact that they just play a bit instinctively and don't let things get to them too much. And I suppose that instinctiveness is what kind of costs them some of those clutch rounds. A few too many wide peaks, perhaps. A few too many attempts to trade things back. So it may well be a core fundamental issue. And it was crazy to see because it's not just like, I don't know, Neo 1v3 in over and over or coming close, right? There were so many different members of HONORIS who either did or came within one of stealing rounds away. So they might end up falling flat to a few types of rounds, few similar situations coming into Vertigo if they don't have that, again, lack of discipline under wraps.
Yeah, certainly. It was kind of crazy to sort of see how many players were stepping up in those clutches scenario, whether it was win or lose. And I certainly think that going into Vertigo, that for HONORIS, for them, they just need results, right? We've kind of talked about the lackluster results for these guys. They went into the playoffs last week. Think how devastating this would be to go to the playoffs, go to the quarterfinals last week, and then you go into week 6 and you're going out in last place in your group. Like, that's unacceptable. And for HONORIS, I would think that this matchup would mean more for them. Not to say that SG.PRO aren't hungry to win, but there's a bit more of a statement if HONORIS lose this.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of problems internally, I think, if they do end up going out a bit too easily here. I'm in a hard-fought battle, but this is a team that, in the past, they've looked kind of comfortable against. So it's strange. It is very strange that we end up in this sort of a situation. They look very weak on Mirage, super close on Dust 2, although it's exciting and it's fun. It is still really close, and it needs some heroes to bail them out on the other side of that clutch bonanza that came in. So yeah, definitely need to batten down the hatches here for HONORIS. Of course, loot bet going up wouldn't be the final map without their odds coming through, our primary betting partner. And they seem to be favouring HONORIS, but not by all that much. Either way, into the pistol here, Dweg. A lot of utility out for HONORIS. Meanwhile, we have a nade here for RU Fire, which makes an appearance quite a bit, particularly for those A anchors trying to deny bomb plants.
And just seeing if they can find any kind of opening kill. And D-Ray looking for a bit of information over at this B bomb site, but so far the T's. Now, the boost going up towards that new sort of banger wall position has not been seen from Ryko, making sure that his head's down and the boost up. But this is going to be a straight B site execution, and you've got to think, rather than just retaking a 5-on-5, the cities have to try and take these fights.
Yeah, they definitely do. D-Ray manages to just about drop away. He's left on 34 HP, tagged up massively. Neo taking a little bit of damage as well, but the 5v5 bomb plant comes in very quickly. However, it's all going to get crazy. Taz coming through to find the man advantage. Prism will find D-Ray, as he does indeed get the clean strafe across, but ultimately to no avail, and now Keys are the only one left. Has to find 4 in the round in total. First head goes. Stomp. He knows where he's at. Trying to creep in, trying to find this frag. Takes a bit of a wide swing, and Taz with the peekaboo will drop him as HONORIS pick up the pistol.
Oh, a great post part coming out from HONORIS. They forced the cities back really far behind those smokes and that 5-on-5 retake. At SG.PRO, they set themselves up as a bit of a unit trying to retake B, but the Glocks just overwhelmed them. A single round, the single pistol round going the way of the HONORIS side, but they now need to deal with the force buy coming out from SG.PRO. And we've seen some individuals be very strong on rounds like this in the past, but with a couple of Galils and a couple of AKs, you got to think that HONORIS have got the much better buy going into round 2.
Yeah, I mean, kind of to be expected. Nothing coming too early, though, as they just play things nice and passive at the bottom end of ramp. I don't think they're fully sure of the extent of the buy from SG.PRO, so certainly taking their time with things. Also, we saw some crazy clutches coming in from the likes of SG.PRO early on their CT side of Dust 2 with buys like this. I think HONORIS are definitely shaken, to say the least, and not wanting to fall flat to this kind of a buy again. RU Fire on high. Able. Oh, no, I thought he'd surely get that frag. He goes for the repeat. It cost him his life. He's got so many teammates in tow, but they also are not able to find anything. However, the damage done is massive, but more frags for HONORIS means less weight on their shoulders, and the round seemingly going to come with it. I mean, this, oh my goodness, Fame particularly could really turn this one around, but I don't think it's going to be doable for him. There it is. 1 bullet, 2 kills. Okay, third coming in. Let's eliminate him now, because this is looking doable. 1 versus 2. The bomb has yet to be planted. They're split as well. Fame has got time to work with if he plays his cards right. In and around the smoke, almost taking down. Stomp swings out, and Stomp drops him just shy of the 4th. My goodness. The 1 for 2 is still insane, but the clutch itself not going to happen.
Oh, man. You had to really feel there for SG.PRO. They tagged up so many players. That shot was crazy. Even the third one, my goodness, that was looking very doable coming out from Fame. And another force buy coming out from SG.PRO. It comes out again. I'm not sure about this buy, Scrib. I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, how many times have we said that in this series about SG.PRO, right? It definitely, it's interesting to see. It's really interesting, you know. I think the other day we'd come off the back of a best of 3 where we had like back and forth, the force buy wars, as it were. And then we get into the one after, I believe it was Apex we were watching, and they won the pistol, lost against the force buy, immediately ecoed, and in the 4th round got the rifles out as soon as possible, rather than force buying back and forth. So it really does depend. Like, these teams, I think, are just as bad as each other kind of thing. And very rarely do you have a team that actually makes a super safe economic decision.
Oh, B-site execution looking strong once again from the HONORIS camp, being able to deal with this force buy pretty easily. And you got to think now for SG.PRO. They've lost the site, they've lost a couple of players. It's your best bet's just to save. Bring these weapons into the next round, eco off the back of it. Because the one thing they don't want to give is momentum up for the HONORIS squad. Don't keep forcing, and just don't keep giving them rounds.
Yeah, you've got to rein it in eventually. And I think a decision like this means that they will be reining it in. Pressure in the next round for HONORIS, for sure, but not quite over just yet. I think they should still be able to get through the next pretty cleanly, but SG.PRO hoping to keep this pressure on. Now, I mean, a player like Fame, FAMAS is not bad to take into the first rifle round. RU Fire can earn money with his MP9. It does make sense, and the discipline kind of coming in a little bit towards the tail end there.
3-0. Looking pretty stable at the moment for HONORIS. A bit of an investment coming through for a few players just to kind of half buy, have a couple of upgrades with the saved-in weapons. And the AWP coming out for Stomp. He's looking to seriously do some damage on this T side, get some opening picks. Likes to play around this ramp position. HONORIS need to kind of work with the advantage they have with the opening rounds. And for SG.PRO, you've got to think that they need to find a response relatively quick. And the T's, even though they've established control towards ramp and use early utility, they're not actually taking ramp control.
Yeah, kind of like faking it out, a bit of a semblance of control rather than fully running in there and just barreling their way through. Oh, okay, Taz coming in with a double. Ooh. Nice stuff. Wait, no, it's a team kill.
No.
Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't realize. The HUD from time to time, it could be a little bit misleading. It's beautiful that we get to see who's picked up the kill, but you just kind of assume that they killed someone else rather than their own teammate. Prism? Jeez. Nice stuff. Fame going to be the only one left in the 1v4. So a bit of damage done, albeit not all of it coming from the CT side, but ultimately a clean fourth for HONORIS.
Taz, mate, it's a double kill. Only one of the opposition. But look, doesn't really matter. 4-0 up. They're just looking at converting some rounds. And SG.PRO, they're a team that really don't use tactical pauses, but you've got to think in a position like this. You know, it's 4-0 up. HONORIS have really started to build a camp on a few of these players, Neo and Taz in particular, and Stomp a little bit further behind. But just take a bit of a breather and go, okay, we've finally got the rifles out. It's already taken us 4 rounds to get here. What's the response? What do we need to find to be able to counter? Even find an opening pick, because that's where they've struggled in their biggest accounts, is just not finding opening picks.
Oh, you say.
Big damage.
Prism, yeah, almost goes down to an opening pick attempt. I get it. Raiko as well, also taking a lot of damage. So SG.PRO early on looking kind of good in that sense. Gonna try and fight back here, although don't really have the HP to do so. HONORIS, I think, are going to have to just rely on the initial push.
Even though there's a lot of damage that's been done to this T side, they have baited out so much util from SG.PRO. All they've got left is just flashes and a single incendiary. No smokes to sort of help hold back this defense. Even for Neo, great opening kill. Dire is going to be alone on the side. And if they overwhelm him, this could be an instant save coming out from SG.PRO. And D-Ray's got to find so much, but no, it's actually going to be a fake. And he's going to be able to call out that he hasn't heard anything after the fact of that early wave of utility.
Managed to find a frag. Patient. Over at back 90, will push forwards ever so slightly. The flank coming in from Fame to drop the bomb. Absolutely massive. They need to find these frags quickly. And Keys is staying alive. Will be the real thorn in the side. They're trying to track him down. They will eventually drop him. 2 versus 2 coming in. However, the trade's working out for the CT side. They'll retain the man advantage. 10 seconds for Stomp. Fame goes down, but surely Sinator just has to survive. I don't think there's quite enough time. He'll creep out behind as well and drops him just for good measure. SG.PRO will get their first round on the board, albeit close, albeit dicey, but a nice call from Dire secures them their first.
And you've got to think there for HONORIS, they put a little bit too much risk in that round. The fact that 3 players tried to rotate in through that new connector position at B to go for the mid to B split, having a single player with the bomb with no support. As soon as he gets overwhelmed, that's bombs just dropped in the open. And HONORIS have to just take so many fights just to recover it. In saying that, though, turning it into a one-on-one has limited the economy of the city side by quite a lot.
Ooh, are you fire? And Taz, to be fair, just about able to make it away from that exchange. Stomp finds the first onto Dire. Eastside looking comprehensive. A nice early pick, which is something that we've not seen very often from HONORIS. So certainly going to feel comfortable moving into the B-bomb site. Great flash as well. They're robbed of some of these frags, but in comes Taz and Prism, cleaning up house. The one frag return for SG.PRO, but surely not going to be enough here. Sinator is the only healthy one. They will pick up some M4s, maybe try and go for it through the smoke. Okay, bit more interesting. Stomp also going to fall. Back into a 2-on-2, and with Taz being on low HP, it becomes a lot more interesting. Smoke goes down to block them out on the stairs. They now get desperate. The experienced players pushing forwards to try and recover the round back. Are you fire coming in from the side? Not even needed. It's Sinator who will get on the bomb, who will hold it down. Taz just going to go barreling on through, but Sinator claps him. Is there enough time? Oh my goodness, this would be such a heartbreaking round for HONORIS to lose. I think there is just about enough. It's so close. He just gets it over the line. And SG.PRO, again, stealing away around, this time with the rifles. Much harder for HONORIS to stomach that one, I think.
Oh my goodness, another huge clutch. And this is SG.PRO winning 2 1-on-1s now. Taz, if only just try to bait him out for another second. No kit to defuse that. Just got the defuse out. Very, very expensive rounds coming through for the city side, but it is 2 in a row from them, Scriv.
Still awfully close between these two teams. Those key clutch rounds HONORIS were winning on Dust 2. Maybe SG.PRO has stolen away a little bit of the magic they were using. More aggression this time around from HONORIS coming in. Going to pay off as well as they drop too quickly. I believe the second frag for Rako was over on B. Fame. Instant double headshot. But he's still dropped. And it's still a man advantage for HONORIS coming in. Keys has got other things to say. Up on the boost box. Holding down A, and, well, the initial push has fallen apart for HONORIS. They're going to look to back away and try and give B a go.
And for Kisei, when does he read the play? Because at the moment, he's very passive at this A bomb site. So there's no real way for him to over-aggress and get that info. Maybe thinking about helping his team out on a rotation. Neo and Raiko trying to make their way up to B. And they don't have any utility. And D-Ray is in a position where it's going to be difficult for them to check, especially with how low the time is running. Oh, they've made noise.
Oh, yeah, this gives the game away. At least for one, but, I mean, why would both not be here? Dire at back 90 once again standing strong on the org. I think going to deny this one away. Rico has to pick up the pace, has to take him down. The pre-fire comes in, and he will get dropped. SG.PRO really turning things around in the past few. Although, again, a rough kind of start to that round. They're able to get it on the board. 3 in a row for them. Of course, shout out to Hellcase here. Malta V. Malta V15, the 2 codes for you. There's a banner down below. And links in the chat to take you to their channel as well. One of the best case opening websites out there. Get yourself some extra cash and a nice 15% refill bonus with those 2 codes.
Not bad at all. And I tell you what, we have seen some players in Multivibe so far, and some not great skins. So an opportunity for all the guys at home, and maybe even for some of the players to get involved. Getting involved, HONORIS are going to be probably going into the meat grinder here. Senator lining them up with a great couple of kills. Prism's able to get a trade. He gets his hands on an M4, but really, what more do they find out of this? Probably not a lot.
Not looking too likely. You say
okay.
that. But Mr. Prism has other ideas. And Taz has recovered an M4 now as well. So if they get more positional drops and whatnot, could find a couple of cheeky ones. Still looking good for SG.PRO though. Any more kills than this, and you kind of like, yeah, sure, you won the round, but another costly one for you. They really need to be building up some bank, and it looks like Fame is going to help them do that. Bomb dropped. Rotational comeback through from Dire. Taz, oh, he gets the dink. The aim punch, of course, will screw him over. 4th round coming in for SG.PRO as they continue to string them together. Although, HONORIS keeping it close, keeping it competitive, making them work for these rounds.
It hasn't been easy by any stretch from SG.PRO. This 4 in a row has been close, and it's targeted the economy, especially from the city side. It's not often that you see a team go up 4 rounds in a row on the city side, and the player with the most money is Kise at 2,300. Normally, there's a lot more money in that reserve. So for HONORIS' sake, they've got to be really happy with keeping the economy low, but they need some more rounds up on the board, and Fame is very aggressive. One thing SG.PRO have been pretty much doing every single round, Scriv, is taking this ramp control. HONORIS are just kind of giving it up to them. They're not really contesting ramp at the moment.
Yeah, interesting. Certainly interesting. I'm not quite sure, again, the philosophy behind that. Maybe it's where they've had a lot of unsuccessful games in the past, where they try and heavily contest ramp on this T side. Ooh. Oh. Neo with the quick reaction onto Dire. Might just have opened the B bomb site right up. 5 on 4. Are you fire? Nice and close. Oh, they're boosting up. And on the wrong side of things, he will drop down, and the side swipe comes through from Raiko. There you have it. Rotation being cut off. A beautiful round here from HONORIS as they are just picking SG.PRO apart. 5 on 2. Sinitor and Kizo probably look to save. They don't have a lot of cash, to be honest. I suppose they've won rounds like this in the past, but I'm not sure about going for it the second time around. And Kizo the only one left. Hold on to the AWP, my guy. Like, let's not be ridiculous here. Tries to go for a no-scope. Like, why? You know, just save.
No idea. Just, yeah, I don't know why they're not saving there in a 2-on-5. That round looked so simple. It looked so simple from HONORIS. As soon as that player close, the B defender drops that smoke, they go, of RU5, they go, right, let's just swing. Let's just try and take him out. And from there, they just get some really easy sight kills. Yeah, look, knowing the fact that they're going to force in the next round, very surprised that they didn't save onto an M4 and an AWP, but I suppose there's a lot of questionable decisions from SG.PRO in recent times, so it is what it is. But for HONORIS, you know, they win this round and they can end up putting up a really strong T side.
Bam through from Kiza, nothing really being found. Another passive and slow start from HONORIS. Looking to try and get an opener. Stom does actually hit a pretty nutty one. We don't quite see that, unfortunately, but crazy stuff coming in from him to open us up. And it will be a 5 on 4 just like that.
It looked like it was Fame getting over aggressive from the scaffolding position out towards ramp. It's a good opener coming out from the AWP, that T side. A gamble stack at B probably is not going to work out, though, because the T's are starting to take the ramp presence and bringing that bomb over to A.
Working the advantage nice and slow. Really being methodical about this round. Again, they don't want to be falling flat against the force buys. 30 seconds left. They'll go for the bomb plant. Should be able to get it cleanly. A few sprays coming through from both sides, actually. Raiko to find a frag, and the 5 on 3 comes in. I would imagine another called save going to be made here, as you can see from the body language of Sinitor and Dire, and now keys are creeping away. They will indeed look to save. So a sick for HONORIS, starting to build this lead nicely.
Looking good. I would certainly say that HONORIS are probably looking the best they have out of all the 3 maps that have been played in this series. This is certainly looking the best performance from them, which is good to see. Again, you've got to take into account that SG.PRO won, what, 2 one-on-ones? They're still making this round expensive, but there's certainly some rounds that HONORIS could have won that lost, but at the same time, they've got a 6-4 lead. It's going to be an eco-op for SG.PRO. I hope they don't go for the force, because I know they like to. But this should be a very harsh eco.
Yes. 5 seconds left. You never know.
It might come out.
Doesn't look like it, though. So I suppose a smart decision being made. Good to see. Sinitor going to rush in with RU Fire here. The bait and switch, but the flash keeps them at bay. And Taz is up the ladder pretty quickly. Sinitor able to drop him. Second doesn't come as easily. And Raiko going to clean up house. So the 7th looking very doable. The Deagle goes down as well. Fame, the only one left. Might be able to find another cheeky frag. Prism not expecting him to be here. The ring around the roses coming in. Did he hear him step? No. Oh, no. Oh, no, Prism. Embarrassed. Egg all over his face. Oh,
How has that happened?
Love to see. I know, that's absolutely mental. I'm pretty sure he stepped as well when, like, he was like, okay, now I'm going to peek, I'm going to take him down, but he crept around the corner, and I thought, surely he's heard him. He's just going to spin around and take him down, but that is hilarious.
You don't see that every day. So, look, that knife kill actually is going to drop over an AWP to Kisei. So, all in all, that actually works out quite nicely. Have a look at this again.
Goddamn.
Nice. We like to see that, don't we? We like the Zeus's, the knives. Yeah. Every now and then. 7-4 though. This is looking very one-sided for the most part. Neo somehow has not checked the left side, and Senator, you can't get easier than that.
That is ridiculous. He gets away with absolute murder, both literally and figuratively. Prism's traded one back. Taz takes so much damage from that nade. They know that Sinator is around, but he is just looking to hide in the smoke as best that he possibly can, and he will survive a little while longer. Flick lands onto Stomp as well. They'll push their way in. Prism's gonna go down. He's got no help. They're very far behind. A disconjointed round from HONORIS, where they've looked so clean. This one, not so much. And the one change is, of course, the pacing from both sides, to be honest with you. It seems SG.PRO performing a bit better when the dial turned up to 11.
I saw a lot of aggression in that last round out to the B stairs. And Senator, great opening, couple of backs. And for HONORIS, they've got to try and brute force their way out of this situation. 2-on-4. Now, they've got the bomb on their back. Senator's still at B, so they can rotate everyone out to this A bomb site. So they'll be able to have a 3-man stack. Ooh, Kisei just playing peekaboo. And Taz is the last one left. And we've seen some pretty good things from him in the past. But I think this challenge is probably going to be a little bit too difficult.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Can't remember if Taz checked his clutch card in or not on Dust 2. I don't think so. And he will be shut down immediately here. SG.PRO going to get the 5th. Hot on the heels. It's certainly not over yet in this first half. Vertigo definitely become a lot more T-sided since all these changes a few months ago. So I suppose 5 or 6 rounds is probably what SG.PRO are going to aim for on the CT side of things. However, the matchup and all that definitely plays into it here. And interestingly enough, their T side is, of course, the stronger. So yeah, I think HONORIS is going to try and shut down as many of these rounds as they possibly can. Hit double digits themselves, and they can be very happy with the first half.
Senator's playing the exact same position again. I wonder whether HONORIS are going to pre-aim it, and they are, but Senator still wins out that fight against Neo. So it seems like for the City side, they go, right, there is certainly a weakness at the early stage of this round towards B stairs.
Yeah, definitely true. Oh, Prism with the contact play, able to find 2, opening up the B bomb site. Are you fire the only one left to hold things down? Prism just clapping everybody out. So much pressure on this B bomb site from SG.PRO, and yet Prism's able to deny so many players away. Sorry, the round looking like it might come with it. It will indeed. Fame traded one back, but ultimately to no avail. And just like that, HONORIS straight back into things. 8th round for them. They destroy the economy. Oh, and they're gonna buy.
It's hard to watch, isn't it? That was insane coming out from Prism. That was just so raw. Got some insane entries. 16 kills and just 10 deaths. And we spoke about on Dust 2, you know, there were different individuals to show up and clutch. It certainly seems like for Prism, for the most part of this first half, he's been the one to show up for the HONORIS side. And yeah, I don't know about this force buy. I'm not a big fan of it again. And for SG.PRO, 2 easy kills. Taz is like, right, boys, B is open, but Fire's locked it down through mid.
Ooh, Sinator coming in with a nice shot as well. 2 versus 1. As again, SG.PRO.
Oh, not again.
Are
Not
win
another
themselves
knife.
the 6th round. Nah. He just gets the kill. He wants it for himself. Denying it away from Sinator. But SG.PRO find themselves another weak buy, force buy-esque round, catching HONORIS completely off guard. Ah, man, it is an issue that HONORIS have had in a number of maps for sure. And it allows them to bring it pretty damn close.
Well, well, well. I did not expect that kind of an outcome with the buy that came forward for the CTs. And now for HONORIS, this is looking a little bit quicker over to the B stairs and to try and at least take some early control. They've really struggled, I would say, in the early rounds to find a lot of entries. What is that from Senator? I'm sorry, but that should not be allowed. What is he actually doing there?
He's a madman. He is an absolute madman. Fragging pretty well on 15 and, as well, to be honest. 15 to 10, which also gives you a bit of an idea. The smoke dissipating over there at Ram, but we don't really see any action off the back of it. Certainly strange. Ah, okay. A quick return smoke. Makes sense. Dire, meanwhile, on B. Finds one. Be careful the second here. Neo going to get spammed down. Trace is followed beautifully. And the 4 versus 2 coming in. Taz has been spotted by the jump peak. And that might just be all she wrote for round number 15.
A good comeback coming out from SG.PRO. A bit of a recovery these last couple of rounds by the looks of things. And surely there's no way that HONORIS can kind of chip back into a round victory here. 2 on 4. Now, they have bomb control. They have at least that much, but... and no utility and not a lot of players. This is going to be a tough one.
Slow but sure. Creeping in on the T side. Oh, finding the first frag onto Dire as well. The bomb site is somewhat open. RU fires here pretty quickly, but the passive angle taken from him. Gonna let them cross. Drops down. Loses the fight. He's forced out by Kiza. That's kind of a miscommunication. Very messy stuff to bring it back into the 2 versus 2. A much more doable round now for HONORIS. They are together here on the CT side of things. They do have a kit available, but that is it. The shots need to land, and they need to land fast. Pete comes in from Stomp, but he finds both of them. HONORIS pull it back. SG.PRO had a crazy clutch in the 4 versus 2 scenario, I believe it was for them as well. HONORIS do the same at the tail end of the half, and they will gain themselves a very similar scoreline to Dust 2. 9-6 going into half 2.
Ah, that hurts. That really hurts that you go down like that. Probably a round that you should never lose. Unfortunate things for the SG.PRO side. Look, 9 rounds on T, I think HONORIS can be pretty happy with that. Again, how they ended up winning that 2 on 4 is probably even beyond those 2 players. But SG.PRO, they need to find a response, and it's got to start with this pistol. And we look at the odds over at Lootbet. Even with a relatively strong half coming out for HONORIS, the odds still aren't heavily in their favor. A 3.06 for the comeback of SG.PRO. If you want to get involved in those odds, you can check out our fantastic betting partners of Lootbet. All the information is underneath the Twitch channel. Some links in the chat. 10 free CSGO spins and up to a 100 euro bonus on your deposit. Free stuff is really what everyone loves, and you know what HONORIS love? Probably a pistol round right here.
Yeah, especially if they can get it for free, right? If it comes nice and easy. I'm sure they will be flying, but it's not going to be easy for them. We have the molly for RU fire. I would imagine, yeah, indeed, going to go and clear out sandbags. Able to do so. They actually take him down as well, so that's a pretty big frag coming in. RU fire just going to continue barreling forwards. Here we go. Starts to get spicy as the 5-on-3 comes in immediately out of the gate. SG.PRO have this explosive T side once again. RU fire just swinging in, trying to bait out some peaks. Ryko tagging down Senator, able to find the frag. Prism, meanwhile, gets one of his own. It's still not even. And Keys is in behind. The B-bomb site completely open, and Keys might just be able to cut off these rotations and end the round here. And now does indeed find the first. Rico just caught in between a rock and a hard place. Not going to happen. SG.PRO get the pistol.
That was very just sort of uncoordinated coming out there for the HONORIS side. What we saw from SG.PRO is that they made their way out through ramp. They got a couple of really nice entries. It seemed like HONORIS weren't really on the same page of whether do we want to play passive at A or do we want to peek. They get a couple of opening kills with the Glocks, and then from there, Kisei, well, at least D-Ray is able to spot out from that sort of like alley position that, hang on a minute, I've seen at least 2 players on B. Kisei's able to get a big wrap around, says, right, B-bomb side's open, let's just rotate in, and find their 7th round, forced by going back though for HONORIS, and not off to the best of starts as Neo gets taken down pretty much instantly when the round starts.
Yeah, not so hot. Stomp on high, Prism down low. This could be a bloodbath. He peeks out, but they have held that perfectly. Both playing their part, but the setup is brilliant. First guy peeks in, checks the higher. Second guy down low to catch the swing. Really good stuff from SG.PRO so far in this round, and it looks like they should be able to take it over the line off the back of those frags. There you go. Raiko, the only one I think who could have done anything crazy. Taz is here with the MP9 and could indeed earn some money, but I think the round itself will go the way of SG.PRO.
Looking pretty simple. No one going down. Fair bit of damage done to Senator, Are Fire, and Fame. And now they've seen Taz. They know where he is. They don't really need to hunt him. It's not majorly necessary with the fact that at least if they hold on to 5 players and they don't go hunting, then they can build up their own money line. They'll know the fact that it's not going to be another force buy. Maybe if it was SG.PRO in this situation, then they would force because, well, they're SG.PRO. But HONORIS, they're not like that. They're not going to force next round.
Yeah, tending to make the smarter decisions.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about smarter. I mean, it generally depends on how they turn out. Safer, let's say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like certainly, I feel like SG.PRO are one of those teams that they're very risky when it comes to the economy. Like they try and play the high risk, high reward kind of rounds, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But at least for the Russians, they're getting actually very close to tying us up. It's only a 1-round deficit at the moment.
Yeah. Starting to worry. Ever so slightly are HONORIS. It looks like it is going to be evened back up. The buy coming through is not fantastic. So, should be an easy ninth for SG.PRO. HONORIS going to have to hold them back in the next. Does make sense, though. I feel like there's a good amount of room for HONORIS to take some names coming into the next round. I feel the rifle rounds that we saw from them on the T side were really well thought out, I think. And coming into your CT side, when you have a bit more methodology, a bit more of a slower paced T side, it can kind of suit Vertigo in the sense that, you know, you just throw your basic utility and hold them at bay kind of thing, rather than taking these really aggressive fights. I'm sure we'll see a lot of jump spotting coming in, a lot of safe angles, rather than rushing and trying to push through smokes as some players do, you know, and contest the ramp heavily. They'll just do it with utility, I would have thought. Maybe I'll be proved wrong, but just from the way that their T side unraveled.
Or even this positioning, this, yeah, the City side, if they get away with like 1 or 2 kills, they could be happy. But that's going to be a difficult task. Raiko does get 1 kill through the smoke and a dink to come through, but no more than that. At 9-9, we are tied up. And at least you've got to think for HONORIS, you know, if you can get that AWP out for Stomp, he's a player that, especially on the City side of Vertigo, moves around a lot. He can sometimes play very passive at B and kind of work behind those default boxes, just having a very long-range fight. Sometimes you see him sort of like slow peeking into mid, out towards ramp. He likes to move around a lot, and it makes it difficult on the T side to kind of read where that AWP is if he's always changing up his position. This time around, looks like he wants to try and go for an opening fight out to the ramp room.
Oh, Stomp, so blind. The peak coming in, but the smoke saving him. That is so strange. How is he still alive? He was so blind. He was so blind. And Keyser just drops back into the smoke and loses the sight line. That is crazy.
He probably should have been dead there. The T side not capitalizing on that kill, considering how blind he was. A lot of chaos out to this A bomb side. But Fire's got the bomb on, and he's just out in the open. What is going on here?
Fame, if you could see what we could see. Maybe not recognizing how close they are as the smoke going to begin to dissipate. Taz just hiding away, but Fame drops it. Nade's coming in, and Fame, oh my goodness, gets all of them. Drops the nade, bangs out 2, and brings it into a 3 versus 1. Raiko has managed to take him down, but that's the only name he will get. Fame indeed living up to it. There's a bit of a famous play here on Vertigo. Might just turn the tides in favor of SG.PRO.
Man, that 3K was unbelievable. And I don't know what Fire was thinking there. Like, if it was someone else that didn't have the bomb, I'd sort of say, okay. But considering that he drops the bomb in sort of the middle of the site, it means that SG.PRO have no opportunity of kind of rotating back out through mid or out to B. They have to commit A, and Fame brings it back fantastically. 10-9 up. SG.PRO getting the lead now for what is the first time I think they've got the lead outside of their... No, actually, this is the first time because they were tied up at 4 rounds each. They've never... I don't think they've ever actually taken the lead, Scriv.
Well, there you go. First time for everything, I suppose.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like this from HONORIS, though. The creep down ramp, they... Indeed, as we've said, have not been a massive favour of it. Sinator is watching the flank here, but is he going to be ready for 3 players? Peeks out, finds a double. Taz will take him down. Frags over on the other side of the map. Should come through. Yeah, are you Fire able to brute force his way in? Prism with 2 on the USP. What has happened here? Finds himself an AK. Somehow it's a 2 versus 2. You still kind of give the benefit of the doubt across to SG.PRO, but it shouldn't have come this close against a buy. Oh my goodness, with a few upgraded pistols. I guess there's a scout in there, but it's not even the scout that does the damage. We'll see. They might even be able to find some more if they play their cards right.
Oh, the timing of Kisei. The flash not blinding him. So awkward there. And Prism gets so unfortunately lucky. The Taz... At this point, like, you can hold on to the AK, but the more damage you can do to the T side, the better. Unfortunately, there's no more that's going to be found from that. SG.PRO have actually come out of the gates on the T side absolutely firing. They have not dropped a single round in this second half. And for HONORIS, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a tactical. Just to sort of take a breather and go, right, we've seriously lost some control. We won the half 9-6. We've now given 5 rounds in a row up to SG.PRO.
Yeah, definitely a massive turnaround from SG.PRO. HONORIS dropping off a cliff as well. So kind of both teams playing into the fact that SG.PRO are looking so dominant. Speed, once again, being employed by the T side. No utility out onto the site, leaving it open. Kisei is going to go down pretty easily there. Perhaps the speed is the wrong call. Now they have to try and recover things back after an initial mess. I don't know. Was that part of the idea? Did he get a bit giddy? Either way, it doesn't work out.
It seemed like the protocol was if Kisei doesn't find anything, then we double pump. If he does, we just keep running. As that was so fast coming out from Kisei. And considering how many footsteps and how much utility come out, they've still only got 2 players at this A bomb site, but they're starting to get control out to the B stairs, so they're going to get the information and start to rotate the stack into A.
Nades coming in. Baking the plant out, always smart. Now the full hold comes through. 45 seconds was left on that clock, so plenty of time to get it in. HONORIS happy to play it passive. Wait for the flank. Get in position. He's not striking just yet because, I mean, flanks are fairly telegraphed. They're always expected on Vertigo, it seems. But maybe if he times it properly, he could have a massive impact. Slow on the uptake from HONORIS here. Half the time already gone. 1-for-1 trade, 2-for-1 trade coming in. Looking so very good for SG.PRO as Rico's just with his back turned, getting taken down. Dire with the double at the end. And wow, there's nothing too flashy about it, honestly, Dweg. It's just a super clean, hitting their shots in key positions because HONORIS gave them so much time, but SG.PRO seeming like they are the better team at the moment. Much better team.
It was just a bit of a poor read from HONORIS. The fact that there is so much U2 and so many footsteps that are heard to A, I just would have thought they would have rotated players quicker. And because they only had 2 at A, there was no way that they could kind of over-aggress and try and take the fights to the Ts. They were forced very passive. And I tell you what, SG.PRO really started fired up on this T side. I'm getting seriously worried now for the HONORIS camp. And after getting a 9-6 half, I was thinking, right, you know, they can win pistol. They can start to close this out relatively easily. But this difficult task is only getting more difficult. Even in a round like this, they're doing damage, but they're just not winning the rounds. That's the biggest element.
It is mad. 3 versus 2. Like a fickle lead for SG.PRO for sure. Definitely not all said and done just yet in round number 22. But once again, it slows way down. Dire able to find Neo. And that might just seal the deal. Prism going to have to pop off. We've seen some cool moments from him in the past. He's certainly hitting the frags most of the time. Does get the first onto 23. Looking for 25 overall. Perfect flash though. And he's not able to dip into cover just in time. Comes close, but Kisei takes him down. 13th for SG.PRO secured as their tear will continue.
And it doesn't stop. It's HONORIS still not taking a tactical. And it's starting to frustrate me a little bit. Because I suppose for you as well, Scriv, you know, us being casters, we see a lot of teams that don't take tacticals. And you've got to think, surely the mindset must be wrecked at the moment. You have not won a single CT round. Yeah, that last one was close. But for the most part, in the gun rounds, you guys are getting destroyed. And they're still not taking a tactical.
It's going to do something for you. It's going to make things better. It's not going to make things worse. So why would you stay away from it? It's so strange. Kize going to find the first. As once again, SG.PRO will come out with a pretty strong lead into round 23. It just seems to continue. Taz trying his best through the smoke. Almost able to find the frags, but Fame will capitalize on the fact that he's still alive. Stomp, quick little flick, brings it into a 4 versus 2, but he needs a few more than that to pull this back.
He needs a lot, and the nades are going to come in to try and see if they can sandwich him. He's getting spammed by so many players, and he's going to ask for a little bit of help. Neo's going to come in to try and at least keep an eye out through mid, try and help out his teammate. 4-on-2 advantage. HONORIS have even got to be thinking about saving. Now, there's no way that Somp can save, because he's stuck at the moment.
Okay, what's happened here? They've picked up a couple of frags. It seems like it's going to get taken down. I don't know. Mad, maybe through the melt, maybe through the scaffolding area.
It was through the metal.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Neo in the 1 versus 2. Essentially, to keep them alive, the money line is just not here. And he thinks they've gone B, or at the very least checking behind him. Yeah, he was just checking behind him. I think there was a flash over on A that kind of sells that fact. It's so open here. He could isolate the 1v1s. He overlooks the angle, though, and Kize will take him down 14-9. And like I said, the money not really there for the CT side. They either eco this one and go for 6 in a row, or they buy into it with a weak rifle buy. Yeah, it'll be the latter. Regardless, it's going to be a tough fight.
This T side's unbelievable. It's just what a performance from SG.PRO. And the one thing that's in the back of my mind is, imagine if these guys actually started T. We could have been like 13 rounds on T. They're looking unreal. They're just getting such a streak at the moment. And for HONORIS, look, they had a chance of going for the half buy eco and getting a strong buy going into the next round, but that would have meant that giving up a 15th and playing for OT, it's not something that they feel comfortable in doing so. So instead, they're going to force the issue. It's a couple of FAMAs, some M4s to back it up, not a massive amount of utility. No kits too. That's probably one of the biggest linchpins in this round for the City side.
Low approach once again from SG.PRO. Gonna walk their way up, play contact. Seems somewhat risky, but at the same time, there's no information being fed across to HONORIS. Gonna molly out the sandbag. That gives the game away ever so slightly. Taz trying his best to hold on. The smoke comes in from his teammate. He doesn't have one. He's able to survive a little while longer, but they know that he's there, and I mean, they just continue to push forwards. They kind of ignore him. Spray down comes through the smoke. He's not able to do anything in this round. Nullified completely. The 5-on-3 coming in, and I feel we have to save here, HONORIS, and they seemingly feel it too. Kind of hanging around, in and out, not really sure. I don't know, man. Again, the mental comes into question here. No frags through the smoke. Coming close on a couple, to be fair, but nothing going their way. The 15th for SG.PRO going to be secured. They will now look to save that they've been tagged up a fair amount. But yeah, really clean stuff once again from SG.PRO. Nice and simple contact stuff. Nothing too crazy. Works out really well.
And it looks like, Scriv, we're going to have another disappointing exit coming out for the HONORIS side. And I even feel bad for myself that I just kind of say, like, it's disappointing week after week after week. I mean, this is now week 6 of the Malta vibes. They've made it to the playoffs once. This is looking like it's going to be the second last place finishing in their group. There's just no way of a recovery here. SG.PRO have been flawless, absolutely flawless in this second half.
It's good to see. I mean, look, there's both sides to every story, of course, and you do have to feel for HONORIS, but like at the same time, SG.PRO look really, really good, and maybe a sign of things to come. This T side, impeccable, like you say. Rush coming through, speed from both sides. Fame so crisp. Sinator as well. Prism does take him down, but can't escape. 4 versus 2, just like that. I think there's a quick flank attempt coming in, but just not looking good. Rico and Neo to hold on, recover things back as best they possibly can. A lot of work required from these two players. An unenviable position. They're split as well, so the